Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Paranormal Guys. Happy early 4th of July. The chat is open. The phone line is open. Let me get that up there. It's 1-888-88-YERGZ. 1-888-88-YERGZ on your phone pad. And we want to thank Yerg's Radio for having us on and allowing us to use their phone number. And we also want to thank the Parapost Network for allowing us use of their stuff. So let's see. Who all do we got back here? I don't have any big announcements today, but I will soon. There's Miss Cheyenne, Miss Dina, and then I heard this weird voice come in.
Hello.
It's B Dizzle. I haven't seen you in forever. Where have you been? So, well,
sorry.
Missed you. All right, well, we can
laugh.
We can talk later. We have a wonderful set of guests tonight. Glenda Benevides is backstage. I'm going to bring her out. She is awesome. We were talking just a few minutes ago, and you got a lot of stuff going on.
She is beautiful.
I can't say that. I'll get in trouble. So,
not for me.
My wife
Glenn's gonna break an NDA.
Well, I'll say it then. You are gorgeous.
Thank you.
You are.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
I'm gonna move you up here. Well, I'm gonna try to. There we go.
There you go.
Right. You did it.
Better.
I did. I picked it up.
I'm in the middle now.
Right.
You're surrounded.
I'm surrounded.
All
what was that? The game show where the Hollywood
Square.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
And she's just stuck in the middle with you two.
Circle gets the square.
Well, we keep B Dizzle down there. So Glenda, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then I understand you have some really cool news about some stuff you want to talk about too.
Yeah. Well, let's see. What could I tell you about me? I am a lover of all things paranormal, and right. I'm always standing in. Let's see what's real, right? Like let's create this reality, or let's step into this. So, and you might be able to see my shirt.
Oh yes,
but
it's
that's nice. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
nice. Good.
Spy versus spy over here.
That's what I wore that specifically for the show. I got it.
I like that shirt.
I got it in Edinburgh for it's called Mary King's Close. It's where they sealed up everybody in a time period where they had plague.
Oh,
it
my
was
goodness.
So horrifying. Oh my God. Wow. Anyway, intense. Not enough about that, but yeah, we can totally talk about that. But for me, I'm born in Oakland, California. I'm here on the West Coast, and I'm a singer, a songwriter, an author. I've written 2 books. One is called Courage, Find Your Fire and Ignite Action in Your Life. And then I wrote a second one with a really good friend of mine who's an amazing artist, and it's called The Grimoire of Lost Lore.
Oh, wow.
Already.
Me too.
And it's not out. You have to ask me for them. I'm gonna have to mail them to you, but because we haven't really got that far. But it's fun because he did all these amazing art pieces, and
That's
then
beautiful.
I wrote the story for it. So
Nice.
Anyway, that's some of the things that I do besides being a musician and touring and performing, and just spreading the lightness and the dark together.
Very nice.
That's great. That's great. Well, how many instruments do you play?
I play mandolin, guitar, mess around on the piano.
I love the mandolin.
Me too.
I taught
Yeah.
myself to play like 3 songs on it once.
I almost
Nice.
bought one the other day at a pawn
It's that
shop.
those 8
You
strings.
Yeah.
Those
Should've.
8 strings hurt so much.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. You think, oh, this is gonna be easy. Mm-mm-mm.
And they're
Yeah.
wrapped. They're this wide. You gotta.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Oh, you're in Alabama, Bobby, so maybe you should learn to play that.
I
Yeah.
was playing boiled them cabbage down, baked them biscuits brown.
Wow.
Oh, the cabbage tail.
Sister had a muley cow, muley since she born.
Oh my gosh. Well,
He's out there playing the mandolin instead of the banjo.
Yeah.
can play
Yeah.
banjo, too.
It's a little bit upper class. A little bit upper class.
so you are really venturing out into the paranormal world too soon.
Yeah. The 3 of us, kind of like you guys, the 3 of you, we have put together a wonderful new show. It's an immersive cocktail tasting experience.
Oh.
And we one of the artists is a magician, and he's fantastic. And then we have a tarot reader, and then myself. I'm just a glorified witch. We do spells and fun stuff, and we just have a blast. So this is a new adventure, but we were spiritualist cabaret before, and we did a little bit of drinking, but now we're going to be doing tastings. So I think it'll be really fun. They'll come in, they'll be immersed in this experience. We'll tell a story, they'll drink, we'll tell a story, we'll do music, we'll tell stories like that. So we're stepping out on that venture probably in September.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Coming to your theater near you.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Come to Huntsville, I'll go.
Similar to that here. Well, a show that comes around here.
Mm.
That would be like an even better Dixie
Yeah, it's
Stampede.
really awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't been yet, but it sounds awesome.
No,
Call it-
it's
you
gonna
call
be
it Dixie.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. Yeah, the music and everything blended together with storytelling, and then everybody's drinking, and we have at the end we have a drinking game, and yeah, it's fun. We got all kinds of fun surprises and stuff.
So, okay,
Yeah.
so we got stories, we got booze, we've got tarot,
Yep.
we've got magic, we've
We
Yeah.
got
witches.
music. Mhm.
Where do I sign up?
Right.
Come
I'd
on
love to go.
down.
We need to fly out there, Shay. You can
Well,
swing
you-
right here in Knoxville, or
We would love it. We would love it. We just got to find the right venue, and then we'll come on into town.
oh yeah,
And it's great because it's like $55 to go.
Mhm.
Who
That's
can
not bad.
drink 4 drinks for $55?
right.
And get entertainment and all that stuff, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's really reasonable.
it is. It is. I
Yeah.
mean, you can spend that much on dinner by yourself.
No,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. But
And you just get in this big venue full of crazy people like yourself.
uh-huh. And everybody can dress up, and
Oh,
if they
that's
want to
so
dress up,
fun.
it's like they can dress up. If they don't have to, if they don't want to, but
Yeah.
we're gonna really have that as an option. So it's this
Like-
interactive character storytelling and that type of stuff.
It's like
Not-
even better Ren Fair.
Yeah.
Right? We're hoping, and we'd love to
How-
take it around.
How many participants were you looking for, like venue wise?
Venue wise, I think we're looking at 50 people and up.
I was going to
That'd
say
be
because
good.
Huntsville has this Shenanigans Comedy Theater.
Oh,
where they do,
okay.
like improv, and the
Yeah.
local horror group has their weekly horror movie review things there. So it's perfect.
Oh, cool.
Oh
it's
yeah.
Not, it's not like a popular downtown theater, but it's where the crowd that would enjoy this would
Mhm.
that's the same crowd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is this located?
It's Huntsville, Alabama, but it's Shenanigans
Okay.
Shenanigans Comedy Theater.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of it.
That's my favorite
thought
word,
about that.
shenanigans.
Yeah,
Again.
I'm going to pistol whip the next person that says Shenanigans.
Okay, God.
Wow.
Hey,
Wow.
Farva, what's that place with all the flair? Shenanigans? God.
We haven't been in a few weeks and you come in hot. So I love it.
Brandon,
Shenanigans out.
he's coming in with the violence.
Oh, yeah.
That's a Super Troopers reference.
Oh yeah. Dang it.
Bobby D.
Yep.
He always gets us with the movies. He is a movie quoter. I'm telling you.
I am idiot savant when it comes to movies.
Yes.
You gotta love it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I think if anybody because we're just starting out. So if anybody wants to reach out and say, hey, I'd like for you to come to my area or
Yeah.
whatever, just like, maybe we could give them my email or something and people could reach out,
Oh my gosh, there are so many theaters around Dollywood.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Or Pigeon Forge.
Oh,
Oh, that
gosh.
would be the place to go.
Where's
You
that?
just went.
Pigeon Forge.
Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Yeah, there's all kinds of dinner theaters up there and stuff.
Wow,
We could
beautiful.
we could rent out the
yeah.
Bucky's bathroom. And
Oh my gosh, yeah.
it's very
Was it
clean.
huge? Oh, okay.
It's very clean.
It is gigantic. It's one of the it was the largest one until they started building the one in Texas.
Yeah.
They had to
Wow.
go
Murfreesboro, Murfreesboro, Tennessee is going to have the largest one, and it's going to be in Texas again.
Oh, great.
And then that one in Texas burned down yesterday.
What?
Oh, the new one?
There's a new one in. It wasn't a new one, but one of them burned down.
Oh,
Yeah, it was actually beside where they were building,
oh,
and it caught on fire. So
Oh,
they're like,
no.
we'll just push it over. We're almost done with this one anyhow.
oh my goodness.
Wow.
It smelled like brisket. It was delicious.
Brisket and what was I going to say? Baked bananas.
I've got a funny
Pudding.
story about brisket I'll tell later once everything dies down, but I won't.
Okay.
It's for everyone. It's funny. And I'll let this podcast go though.
Yeah, we want to make sure that
Get
Glenda
sidetracked.
gets in and talks about all of her cool stuff. And,
All right, I'll
you know,
stop.
you get- well, no. I mean, you've got great music, and I didn't know about the horror and paranormal stuff. So wow, I mean, I'm like, kind of.
So what initially got you into music?
Wow. It's like one of those things I always have done. I started professionally when I was 16. I had my first paying gig. It was a wedding.
Wow. Oh, nice.
Oh.
You were a wedding singer.
I was a wedding for real. Before the wedding singer. Yeah, so that was fun. And then right after that I started touring. But yeah, so I've been pretty much working all my life. But I was in a time though where I was really fortunate to have made my living doing it, which is not necessarily true these days. So
Yeah.
I feel really, really grateful, thankful, because that's where you get on the mat, you get your experience, you get negative things happen, great things happen, it's all there. And you just can't, you can't buy that experience. So
Right.
I'm very fortunate. Yeah.
When
That is true.
when you're out on the road, how often do you go out, or do you do like nationwide tours, or?
For which project?
I guess I should be specific.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, for Spiritualist Cabaret and then the New Blood Moon Company, we're called Tipsy Grimoire. So that's the name of the show. And woohoo! And that's going to be starting the Spiritualist Cabaret. We were doing that. That was a completely different thing. Very show intensive, like serious music, serious songs, that kind of stuff. But we did that for like 2.5 years, and then we just decided to put it down for a while and go into this new direction that's more fun, and people really want to just let loose. So we're gonna add the cocktails in. So our future is to, probably do this area first, and then, go where, like, if we were to find out that Tennessee or, Huntsville or any, you guys, like, really there was interest, then we would go there and do that there. As far as my music goes, just me as Glenda, the artist, I haven't been touring, probably just mainly focusing on projects and recording. I'm preparing for Grammys again this year. So I've got 2 or 3 songs that are going to be going up for voting this year.
Oh, wow.
So
Great.
my fingers crossed.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but yeah, so just doing that, writing. And I also I also work with other artists. So like I've just had a flurry of like, hey, I want to work with you. Hey, do you want to do a collab? Hey, do you want to, I'm like, oh, okay. So I've been pretty busy, not too much touring scenarios. So yeah.
Now, do you work with like bluegrass artists, like the traditional ones?
I have not, but that sounds fun.
Like I mean, I was thinking like top of my head, Old Crow, Medicine Show, and maybe someone and like Dead South and Tyler Childers.
Oh yeah, those are good ones.
Yeah, Tyler Childers not so much bluegrass.
I love him.
He's always in my playlist.
Mine too. I love Tyler.
Dead South and Culture Wall are from Canada, but they don't sound like it. I felt betrayed. I clutched my pearls, Canada.
I know.
Tyler who? Did you say Tyler who?
Childers. He's from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Wow. I'll look them up.
Yeah, Dead South and Old Crow are like the goats right now. They're no Bill Monroe, but they're not Bill Monroe, but they're up there.
Yeah, and they'd be kind of probably like your genre.
Mm-hmm. They'll go into that punk, the dark goth bluegrass that's becoming popular now.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
That old coal mining, Grim Reaper stuff.
Yeah.
There's a whole playlist on the internet.
Wow. Neat. Okay.
Awesome
Thanks for turning me on to this. This is awesome.
Yeah, they're great.
So much amazing music.
There's like a goth bluegrass country Spotify playlist that I follow.
That's amazing.
I lose it every time.
I love it.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, it's good.
I'll see if I can find it. I mean, it's one guy that has a bluegrass band on TikTok has the whole playlist set up. You can find it.
Love it.
Oh, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great. We actually have a guest taking notes on us. And
yeah, we're usually like, what'd you say that was? What was that?
Well, I feel like I'm behind here. No, this is great. It's like learning about new artists and stuff.
Well, you go to the South to find.
I know, right?
Bluegrass, Tennessee and bluegrass and Georgia,
I love bluegrass.
Yeah. And country.
Yeah. Well, my music partner, my co-writing partner, the one that we've been doing a lot of the root stuff with, he early days he's from Missouri, so he did bluegrass and so you're gonna hear. Like throughout my music, you'll hear banjo, but you'll hear it weaved in, and you'll hear dobro and stuff like that. You'll hear stuff that you kind of go, "Wow, she's using that,"
Yeah, well, that's cool though.
Yeah.
Bringing a little new sound to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You had me at banjo. You kept me at dobro.
Mandolin. There we go.
Yeah,
that's in there too.
Mandolin.
I love the mandolin all day.
I may go back and get that one. It's still there.
I love it. Yeah, I'm going back.
Teach myself to play.
It's easy enough. Yeah.
Check out that pawn shop again.
Yeah.
You just have to practice. And I'm bad at that too.
That expensive either.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm sorry. I'm a little sidetracked today on something else, so you have to forgive me. Plus, I'm in Knoxville. I'm not in my normal place, so I'm just all over the place.
Where's your normal place?
Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to come up here.
ATL.
To help out with some family stuff. So
gotcha.
So I'm kind of. That's why it's like it's not my studio.
I noticed your bed had moved. I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
I hope you don't mean now that it's moved.
Oh,
it's something weird happening.
What was that? No.
Yeah. We're moving now.
What's behind you?
We've teased. Was it Cheyenne? Her door would open one night in the middle of the show, and we were all like staring.
Yeah.
It's
Bobby,
did you see that, right?
Whoa. Wait a second. Did your door just open?
I love it.
Oh yeah, that's
The
just
cat.
a cat.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Just the cat. But at least Glenn doesn't have the ghost there, right? The ghost is not there in that house.
I haven't had anybody messing with me so far.
Yeah.
So
He's got a ghost in his house in Atlanta.
yeah. So
Oh,
In
wow.
his room. In his room.
It likes to pick on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. They noticed it was pulling my hair straight up, and Dina noticed it, and so I zoomed in, and you could actually see it lifting straight up. We were on it.
We hear her all the time. It's a woman.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you
And
can't
I
hear.
can't. Yeah, I can't hear her. She just goes out through the mic. So, and
Yeah.
she screams. I don't know. So
I don't think that was her that
She's like,
screamed
let
that
me
night.
out.
I promise I have no one hidden in my closet. So.
It's the first time a woman's ever screamed at Glenn's house, so it has to go.
Oh, that's not nice.
Wow.
You'll learn we're so laid back. So tell us about some of your paranormal experiences.
Yeah. Well, I've had 2. So, and I'm always looking for more, but
Aren't we all?
right?
Yeah.
Life after death, show it to me. No, wait a minute, cancel that.
Oh yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
welcome it.
Not that
Don't
way.
welcome it.
I'm gonna rephrase that one.
Yeah. Rephrase.
Anyway. No, let's see. So my first experience was I had come home from being on the road, and I had this little vial of amber paste. I don't know if you know what amber paste is. It's just paste, and it's like a perfume anyway.
Yeah.
And so it was in a small glass jar with a cork on it, and it was in my bag, and I had prior emptied out my bag, and then I went back in like the next day or something like that, and I thought, oh yeah, I got to get the rest of that stuff out of there in my amber jar. So I go in there, I got the rest of the stuff out, and the jar's gone. Oh. And I'm like, okay. So I took the bag and went like that, dumped it out, went underneath the little bottom slat and everything. It was not there, like gone. And for some reason I said, okay, whoever has done this, you need to put it back.
You're setting me back $30 here. Come on.
Yeah.
You need to put it back. I don't know if it's fairies or what it is, but you need to put it back. And because it was like, I don't have any more of that, Yeah. So I went about my day. I came back to the bag that night or something like that, and I got in the bag, and there it was, sitting right on top, inside the bag. Like,
that's so weird that happens, isn't it?
Well, and you're right, and your brain goes, I'm the only person there.
I know. That happened with my keys.
It's like,
creepy.
What? It's creepy.
It is.
Like, well, at least they listened. So
exactly.
Fairies can be very mischievous, so
that's what I knew. So I went, okay. But they put it back, and that was good. And I'm not kidding you. Like, there's the bag. It was empty, and it was sitting right on top inside the bag.
Wow.
On the what do you call it? Just the bottom.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I had to look again and it was underneath something. I could have missed it. No, it was right on top. Okay. So that was my
like, thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for putting it back.
Yeah.
So that was my first one. And no, it was probably later. So my very first one was early days. I was a Catholic. I was a Catholic. I wanted to be a Catholic. And so I would tell my parents I was younger, and so they would take me to church. They would go to their church, and I would go to my church. Their church was the bar. So they would drop me off, and I would go to church. And I remember, I think it was like about 13 or 14 or something. And you're at that age where you're kind of angsty and life is not good and you're sad and all this other stuff. And your vampire diaries. Anyway, so I did my Catholic thing, my church, my mass, and then went outside, and it was in Oregon. It was raining, and my parents were late. And so I stood outside for a while. By that time, everybody was gone. Everybody was gone out of the church. I went back into the church, super upset, super sad, crying, went up to close to the altar, kneeled down, and I was just praying, and I was looking at the cross, and I was crying. I was putting myself into this like meditative kind of a state. And I was just like, and it was just this energy of like pleading, and all of a sudden in my right ear, loud and clear, I heard, Glenda, God is not outside of you. God is within. I opened my eyes and went like this.
Oh.
and there was no one there. It was the church was like 2,500 seats. So like I would have saw them running, you know, and why would somebody come up to me? They don't know what I'm doing. I'm praying.
Right.
You know? So that was my biggest, I think, paranormal. I considered it paranormal because it was very unusual, and it was a male voice, and it was very loud. And I left, and I never went back.
Well, you don't need it, I guess.
Nope.
God is within you.
God is within you, Glenda.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you ever hear it again, or I'm not like you're okay, all right.
Yeah,
I had a similar experience when I was by trade, I'm a firefighter paramedic. I was attacked on duty, and I had a similar attack. Or it warned me, but apparently I'm too stupid to listen. But no, I'll be honest. Pitbull, she came up from behind me. They said, "Don't get bit," and I was like, "What?" Anyway, and that's really one of the reasons I started this show, because I want to know what that was.
Wow.
I don't know if it was a male voice, a female voice. It was a strong voice, and it was just like, "Don't get bit." Of course, I got bit, but
whoa,
I think it was one of your guides.
Yeah.
So that's how one of the reasons I started this show, and I also like to say, get people that maybe don't have paranormal experiences and ask them, all right, tell us, have you seen Bigfoot, or seen a ghost,
right?
Stuff like that. So I think that's kind of cool. But that's why I started it. And of course the shrinks are like, you're a paramedic, you got voices in your head, you're nuts. So
Thank you.
Didn't your voice talking?
I know what
Didn't your voice?
I know what my inner monologue sounds like, and that was not it.
Yeah, that wasn't it.
Yeah.
Do what?
Didn't your voice talk twice, Glenn?
Yes, after the bite, when my fingers were hanging and the blood was dripping, it said it'll only hurt for a little while, and it's all going to be okay. And
then it told him, you should have listened, you dumb butt.
Yeah.
And it said, "Oh, by the way, you're a dumbass." But
right, that was the addendum.
Yeah, that was your inner monologue.
Wow. So Glenn, was that your voice that you heard, or it was a different voice, right?
It was a different voice.
Yeah.
And I can't put a sex to it. I can't put it was just loud and booming. And I mean, so much so I would like, where, and
then you went, ow.
So, well, I didn't even realize I'd been bit the first bite she got, but it happened so fast. But so, and it was right. Everything is going to be all right. So, I'm happy to report. So, this show isn't about me anymore. So,
no, it's all good. It's like, I feel like we all have amazing experiences,
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to be up in the West where you are, where they have the Bigfoot stories,
right?
The classics,
right? What do you guys think about that? Because I've heard that, I don't know if it's real or not, but I just, through the things that I listened to, I heard that Bigfoots are actually alien, and that's what they turn into or whatever. Just to, I don't know. I understand that all, but
they're
like
cloaking mechanism.
Cloaking, there you go.
Portals.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they there's a lot of, and there's usually, if there's Bigfoot activity, they'll have reports of ET activity.
Yeah, okay.
So I think
that's what they were saying. Yeah.
I think there is a connection, but what it is, and we will probably never know.
Mm-hmm.
And science will not believe it until they have a body. So
right,
and they won't never have one.
No,
it's impossible for them to have one.
Yeah.
There's no way. There is no body. They don't have a body. I mean, they have a body, but they're not going to be like, oh, let's leave it. It doesn't.
Right. I think if I think it cloaks itself, or it's either absorbed into like a portal of itself. Yeah. If it passes away or gets harmed. Come on. yeah, exactly.
Right. That makes sense.
But here's the funny part about that, and we're talking about this openly like it's just a big thing. But up until just a few years ago, the people in the Bigfoot community and the people in the UFO community hated each other. I mean, they would fight.
Yeah,
that's weird.
And it was like one day there was a switch flipped, and they're like, "No, when we've seen UFOs, there was a big hairy guy there too."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it when Trey tells that story about the UFO guy. Like, cornering him in a conference. I'm like, hey, we saw something crazy. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Come here. You don't want to sound crazy at a UFO convention. Come here.
Yeah, right.
I love that story. Trey is one of the leaders of a group that Glenn and me or Glenn is, and I am partially involved in.
What's Trey's last name?
What is his last name? Hudson. Hudson.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking of Shay.
One of my favorite comedians is Trey Crowder.
Yeah.
I'll send you a book you need to read, Glenda.
Okay. Yeah. I love it.
It's called the Bible, Glenda.
It's called the Bible.
She knows that already, Bobby.
What do you say?
If she's Catholic, she don't read the Bible. She has a guy.
Oh.
I know I'm Catholic. I don't read the Bible.
You don't need to. You can just go through the priest.
She doesn't need to. God is inside her.
And when you said your parents went to the bar and you went to the church, I'm like, that's kind of the same thing in a Catholic. So I'm like, you don't have to separate the two. I'm not the Columbus. I know.
Oh, I love it. Oh my God.
we got kegs at church. I mean, there's no separation.
Yeah.
Church.
That is one good thing about the Catholic Church. They do drink.
They do know how to throw a good party.
Yeah.
Fish fries, baby.
Fish fries and a kegger.
Okay, this must be a special Catholic from the South, right? Fish fries. We're talking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Fish fries during Lent.
Yeah.
Hey,
on Fridays.
Our Catholic church up the road does that, and that's in West Virginia. So.
Yeah.
Most of
you just pull right up to the front door and like, I need 2 to go.
Yeah.
When you go like closer to the Midwest with it, like in Indiana and like Ohio and Michigan, they have more of a like whitefish or cod or something like that. But down here, it's all catfish.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Same cod.
Now we're hungry.
It's so weird how the different regions, like south up to Virginia, probably.
And Louisiana goes ham when it comes to that. They be eating everything. They clear out the ditches. Like a snapping turtle gets caught up in it.
Oh, sure, you're right.
Get that gator.
Yeah.
Gators, mud bugs. Yeah.
They had to. I don't know why this conversation is taking its turn, but I'm here.
Right?
The bishop of Louisiana County, Louisiana parish, had to make a special decree that muskrat and like nutria can be included because they're in the water.
Oh.
So and they can eat them during Lent. Muskrat, nutria, and beaver.
Wow.
During Lent, they had to do that. Like, can we eat this muskrat or not, man? Eat the rat. Eat it.
Wow.
Who needs the host when you got a muskrat?
You got a nice gabagool nutria.
What about this beaver? Is this beaver fine?
It is.
These are things that I've never eaten. I hope I don't ever have.
What's a nutria, Bobby?
It's a big old rat.
Oh gosh.
Okay,
yeah.
No, thank you.
It looks exactly like you think it does. Big rat.
Oh no.
They'll go in Louisiana.
Like New York City size rat or bigger.
I'll have to look at it, but they're real. They charge $5 a bounty on them for bodies.
Oh,
they're kind of a pest. But these guys will walk down the road and circle these nutrias on the side of the road with chalk. And when they come back down, they'll get the ones without chalk around them because they know they're a fresh kill and they can eat them.
Oh wow. Now we have that. Do y'all have that roadkill thing in Georgia? Do you have the roadkill?
Oh no, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah,
here in Tennessee, you could eat roadkill.
No,
I didn't know that there had to be a law about that because I used to have this old Chevy truck where I would just mow down deer and we would clean them and take them home. Like I didn't know I needed a law to tell me I could do that.
Well, you may not in the backwoods or whatever, but
I'm like, I need to know about if we do we do that in West Virginia?
It's a free deer.
I feel like it's okay, but I could be
like
wrong.
If you see a deer get hit, you used to have to call. Well, you still kind of have to call TWRA or whatever, Tennessee Wildlife. But they'll come out and tag it or look at it and say, okay, yeah.
It's not too decomposed. You're fine.
It's so uppity.
Well, if it's fresh,
if you hit a deer.
If it's hit, and then somebody can take it.
We we have specific guidelines we have to follow in West Virginia, but mostly you can.
Yeah.
That's
like a lot of some people eat possum here, and so they'll pick up the possums and.
Okay.
Usually,
just,
if you're gonna eat a possum, you catch it and you feed it corn for like 6 weeks, and then you eat it.
Well, I know, but some people will pick them up off the side of the road.
Well, I love
it scares me that you know that.
Brenda.
The first one on here for West Virginia is contact a relevant law enforcement agency within 12 hours, and I'm like,
yeah, you don't want to have
that ain't gonna happen.
12 hours.
That ain't gonna happen.
Especially in the sun. Ooh.
Yeah.
No, but no protected birds, elk, spotted fawns, or bear cubs. So anything else, free game.
Okay.
Yeah, you can eat bear too.
You just never imagined this conversation.
Sorry.
Went from paranormal to eating dead things. Okay. Small
necromancy at its finest.
Well, how about you guys? I mean, if you guys experience paranormally?
Bobby, you had the most recent.
Well, I sent you the book, so that outlines everything for Glenn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bobby had a recent one. What'd you have recently, Bobby?
Yeah, Bobby
did. What was it?
He was the thing you saw in the woods.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking? Oh, yeah, I thought I saw a shadow figure.
Your
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and yeah, that was. I mean, it was. I can't say that it wasn't my eyes adjusting to the dark, but when I looked up, something moved behind that tree. Something just north of translucent. And I saw a UFO doing a CE5 in my backyard.
Nice.
But that really happened. That's 100% happened. It wasn't a meteor. It was a UFO flashing its high beams.
That's so cool. I'm a CE5 person too.
See, I don't do it like some people do. You know, they do the. I was like, I always talk to them like, "Hey guys, if you're there, give me a sign." And sometimes I'll see a meteor.
Yeah.
Just something random. This was.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It was the intergalactic equivalent of a state trooper flashing his blue lights.
Wow.
It was different than any shooting star you've ever seen. It was just instant. Less than a second, but bright.
When you're doing the CE5, do you do like the meditation first? Is that what you do? Or
maybe for a second, but I just kind of start talking to them because I feel like if you're in the fourth dimension and you know me, you know that I believe you. I'm not like trying to do any parlor tricks.
Yeah.
I have the intentions.
Hey guys, this is Bobby.
I got a little fire pit and I'm just out there building a fire and looking up. I'm like, hey, if you got something, show me something that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I think what West Virginia and all those you have a lot of sightings, right? You guys are pretty UFO'd out up there, UPAs or whatever they call them now. UAPs or something.
UAPs.
I guess just you got like Western West Virginia, that's just like all Mothman pretty much.
Oh, okay.
And you got Northern West Virginia and you got Flatwoods Monster. Then I don't know about East West Virginia. I don't know about that. That probably gets into Virginia stuff territory. And then, I mean, I live out of holler, so I hear stuff all the time. I don't know if it's. I'm just like, just don't eat the cats.
Exactly. Leave the cat alone.
Could you get some of the deer out of the yard? That'd be all right. Just y'all do your thing.
It's like
Flatwoods was Kentucky, by the way. It's West Virginia. I did not know that.
What was it?
Flatwoods. I thought it was Kentucky.
There's probably Flatwoods.
I get it in the Hopkinsville one confused.
Now there probably is a Flatwoods, Kentucky, because I know there is. I believe it's Fayetteville, Kentucky, as well, and there's Fayetteville, West Virginia. So.
There's Fayetteville, Tennessee, too,
and Alabama and Arkansas.
So, Glenda, have you ever seen a UFO?
Okay. Kind of. Okay. Well, I'll tell you a story. My band, we were touring and we were in Bend, Oregon. Mm-hmm. And they put the band out at the band house. So we were playing a resort. And then so the band goes to the band house, which is out. It's on the property, you know. And so when we get done about 2:00 in the morning, we get back, we all crash out, right? So I'm in my dream. I'm having my dream, and I'm dreaming that I'm driving my vehicle. My girlfriend is next to me, and then our guitar player is sitting in the backseat of my car, and he wasn't there that weekend playing with us. So he was in the back seat, and I'm driving, and I stopped the car, and I look over to my girlfriend. I said, I got to tell you something. And as soon as I said that, both of them in my dream went, shh. They froze. And I was like, okay, that's weird. Then simultaneously, a light went around my vehicle, but like that. And I was like, okay. And then this was the clincher for me, because at that moment, you guys ever seen Star Trek, right? Where they go, energize me, and you go,
oh yeah.
Okay. So that started to happen, and I started to raise up in my seat, and I literally felt it. Like in my dream, you're dreaming, you don't necessarily feel or whatever. I felt like, oh my God, my feet are disappearing. And I was like, holy shit, I'm being abducted. And I thought, no. And I said, we are all one. We are all one. We are all one. Boom. And I was sitting up in my bed like this, wide awake, just literally just opened my eyes as if I was wide awake. And if you know me, that does not happen. It takes me forever to wake up. And I was wide awake. I looked over the clock. It was 5 a.m. on the nose. And I was like, holy crap. The first thought was, my eyes opening was, I was being abducted. And then I freaked out. I jumped out of the bed, looked for the light, and then I could just feel something in the room, but it was kind of outside, but in the room, it was weird. Ran into the bathroom, flushed water on my face, looking at myself going,
you're not crazy.
I'm just having a dream. It's just
Are you okay? Am I okay?
Water on my face. And I'm like, I'm having a dream. I'm having a dream. And I was like, no, you're not. And I said, yes, I am. And then I went, okay, I calmed down. I gave myself another few minutes. And all I wanted to do was run through the band house screaming, get up, we're being abducted. Now, mind you, everybody in my band was Black, and they would have looked at me like I had lost my mind.
Yeah.
You need to go back to bed. And so I didn't say anything. I made myself go back to my bed. I laid down, and it finally calmed down enough to go back to sleep, and then went to sleep. And the next morning I was kind of obsessed with that. Like, was this really happening? And it just felt like it was. So I got in my car. I was driving through Bend. I thought, you know what, just go to like a spiritual bookstore or something like that, and ask around. So I get to this bookstore. I start talking to people, and I said, oh, so, have you heard of da-da-da-da? And I started sharing a little bit without telling them it was me. And the one lady perks up, and she's like, oh yeah, we have sightings here all the time. I'm like, what? And she's like, oh yeah. She goes, it's documented proof that if you go to the police department at that time, there was over 500 sightings.
Oh, wow.
Documented, like called in. Oh my God, And so, okay, fine. So I'm got a little freaked out. I go back, I go to work. We're done with the gig. I'm the first thing I do is like, I need to go to bed. Everybody else wants to stay up and drink, and I don't do any of that. So, as a lead singer and entertainer, you're singing hours in the night. You can't be doing all kinds of nonsense unless you want to lose your voice, lose your life. So I said, okay, no, I'm going to bed. So I go down, jump in the van, because they have a van to shuttle us back and forth. And I'm in the van, and I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm going out to the outback, to the house by myself. And I was like, oh shit. So I'm starting to sweat a little bit more. And I started talking to the driver. I said, hey, have you heard of any da-da-da-da? And I started asking him a few questions. And he said, well, it's funny that you ask. He said, yesterday we had a woman on the property call the front desk, and he happened to be at the front desk, and she was asking if the airport had been closed or if it was open, because it was had just gotten dusk or going down. And she had seen something out her window, and it wasn't, and they had closed the airport, so there wasn't an airplane or anything like that. And so when he told me that, then I really started to stress.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so maybe I wasn't just dreaming, maybe this was happening. And of course, later on through the years, I found out, they can do that. They can come into your dreams and, that type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And so, as soon as I got to the band house out in the middle of nowhere, I jumped on the phone and I started calling the guys. When you guys coming back? They're like, we're just having a drink now. I'm like, no, I need you home. I need you guys to come back. And so nothing else happened weird, but that was my little weird alien story.
Dang.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that is good. I mean, not good, but
scary.
Scary,
sure.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you think that maybe they did get you? You just were waking up when they were putting you back, or
I don't know. That's a really good question. I mean, I don't.
It sounds like, isn't it?
Really?
Yeah.
You think I just?
That's what it sounds like.
If they caught her right at the beginning, but she was kind of warding them off a bit.
Yeah, I just can't. I don't know if I just don't remember any of it, or if
the flash.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. Yeah, the light. You mean the light when it ran around the car?
The light,
like that. Yeah.
Seems like it may have been. I don't know.
Unless you were watching too much Resident Alien that week, and
yeah.
Oh, that was way before all that.
I was going to say, because that's exactly how it happens in that show.
Oh, really? Yeah, this was in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gulf War days, man.
99 Bend, Oregon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a real rural area. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's getting not so now, but it was for sure then,
Yeah, Oregon. Yeah. Was it Oregon?
That's Eastern Oregon.
Utah and all up there. They have a lot of
UFOs and Mormons.
My
Weird
dad
stuff.
was a DJ in Eugene. Eugene and Bend and Rose Valley, maybe
Roseburg.
Yeah. So he was a DJ in all those areas. So I've been a couple times. Yeah. And Yakima, Washington. So,
Yakima. I've been there too. The Tri-Cities.
Weird place. So, I will go back there. Well, yeah, I mean, so do you really think, what do you think? We get people on here that think that, they could do time slips and like put you right back and it's like the exact time you were gone and you were back. And what do you think about that?
Me? I have no idea. Like, the way it plays out in my dreamscape in my head was the boom, frozen light, boom. And then, Star Trek energized me up, Scotty, and that's what woke me up was I was feeling the disintegration of my starting from my feet coming all the way up. I started to feel it. And I was like, what? Because you don't feel that stuff usually in your dream, right? You're just dreaming. And then all of a sudden I had a feeling. And so that feeling was like, wait a minute, oh my God. I thought this in my dream, like I'm being abducted. And that's when I went, oh, no. I have to agree to this. Like I knew I was enough spiritual practice in my life and consciousness. I was really awake then. So I was like, nah, there's an agreement here. I did not agree to this. And even if I did, I'm now rescinding.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I decided to say, we are all one. We are all one. We are all one. Like, you can't do this.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a spell or something that was breaking. I don't know. It was weird.
That's kind of why it was making me think it was like towards the beginning of things. And
it could have been.
Okay.
Yeah. Like this girl knows what she's talking about. We're going to leave her alone.
Yeah.
drop her down.
No victim here. Don't touch her.
Yeah.
She'll give us a fight.
Let her go.
Here's a weird comic book reference for you. Optimus Prime and the Transformers, when they're dying, they're saying is until all are one.
Oh wow. Wow.
Sorry. Weird geek moment there.
That's cool. No, it's cool. Yeah. I don't know.
What did the feeling feel like, the disintegration? Was it like your limbs going to sleep?
No, it just felt like they were disappearing.
You were coming apart.
Yeah, like it didn't hurt or anything. It felt like tingle, tingle. And then it just felt like it was starting to disappear. Like in Star Trek, like when you're watching and they go energize me up and they go, that's what it was like. I was like, what?
Energize.
Sparkling.
and I started to feel it. And I was like, no, that's weird.
It doesn't sound like sleep paralysis because you're able to pull yourself right out of it.
No.
Oh yeah, no.
You're froze. You can't do anything. So
yeah, no. My eyes were totally closed. I was totally in the dream. Light. Starting to like I could feel myself starting to move up in the car. And then that was the kind of the notice. I started to notice that. And then when the energize me up Scotty moment was like, that was like, oh no, this is real. Something's happening. And then I freaked and I said, no, we're all one. You can't do this. Like, you're all one. We're all one. That was like kind of my little mantra thing. And then literally I went like, I was sleeping and went like this.
You were sitting
up, eyes wide open, completely conscious, not like, oh, I just woke up. It was like that, because that's how I am. I just woke up.
Yeah.
Well, this was like being awake, look over, 5 a.m. Oh shit, shit, and there's something in the room outside. I can feel it.
But you know how when your alarm goes off and you start dreaming about the alarm, so you don't have to wake up? I wonder if it was a situation like that, like it was actually happening in the real world, but you're like dreaming the situation, like, well, this is weird. Time has stopped. Your dream stopped, and
interesting. Yeah.
You start dreaming that you're in the band with Skinner as they play. Like, it's not really time to get up.
Yeah, no, I that's all I know. I was not that person that was in a ship, but I have had weird deja vus.
Oh yeah.
So that I'll tell you that one, which is weird. Maybe you guys can help me figure this one out. So I was in Santa Monica, which is in LA. I was walking down the street at night and with a good friend of mine. And all of a sudden I heard a helicopter like that. And boom, I went into this like memory of me being on a ship, like a spaceship. And I was looking out the window and was like, we need to leave. Like they were picking everybody up. Like they were picking people up because there was a disaster happening or something that was going to happen. It was just like a split second. I was like, what was that? Like triggering. You guys are making me remember all these weird things. I only thought I had one story, and I was like, "Wow,
she's having regressions
right now with you."
Here for you.
Or don't you end it, Glenn?
Thank you, Glenn.
That sounds like
you are getting very
sleepy. Yeah. So you were looking out of the spaceship window?
Yeah, I was just walking down the street. I heard the helicopter, and I clicked into this memory of me being racing in a truck to get to the point, the entrance, the pickup point. And this is way before all these fun movies that we've seen. And it was weird. And then I saw myself looking out the spaceship window or something. And then there was this moment of panic, like, we need to leave. We need to go now. Like, it was weird. Just a quick snippet. That's it.
It's a weird feeling when deja vu hits.
Yeah. They are.
It's weird, huh? Yeah.
I wonder if we're
alternate timeline.
Okay. Yeah. Alternate. What was I going to say? Maybe forget. Damn it.
Sorry.
Yeah, timeline, but what was I going to say?
Parallel universe.
Yeah, parallel universe.
There you go.
Maybe we're in a different universe. I mean, like they picked some of us up and put us in a different timeline. That would be weird.
Quantum shifting. Have you ever felt like you've been walking or standing and feel like the ground shakes a little bit, like you're on like a trampoline or something?
Yeah.
No,
that's cool. Like they say that's like timeline shifting when you're trying to do something, trying to make something that you feel like.
I thought it was just out of balance. No,
I can't walk straight anyway.
It's a weird feeling.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must be why I've fallen so many times.
I've actually, while we've been out in the woods camping, I've actually said to somebody, was that a little earthquake? Did you feel that?
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's some stuff happening when that happens.
Say more about that, Bobby.
I looked into it. Like quantum shifting, like your timeline shifting.
Okay, yeah.
Like I'm real big into manifestation for some reason because I think I'm getting pretty good at it as far as good as you can get. But like I'll feel it randomly a lot lately.
I love it.
Just like random, like at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. Just what was that?
Wow.
Oh, manifestation does a lot.
Yeah, but like they say that's your timeline kind of shifting in the next, moving into the next lane on the interstate kind of thing. You know, you remember the movie Butterfly Effect with Ashton Kutcher?
Yes.
And how when something happened there, it would go.
Yeah.
It almost feels like that, but for like a split. I mean, it's a quick second.
Like under your feet.
Yeah, you'll feel like it feels like you're on a trampoline. Somebody's jumping.
Yeah. Like it's shaking.
You know when you go down to the beach and you walk in the ocean for like an afternoon.
Yeah.
You go back to your room and you still feel the waves.
Oh yeah.
It's similar to that, but it's similar to that, but just moving under your feet.
Okay.
Gotcha.
It's just like that. Like
interesting.
It's less than a second every time.
Huh. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about because I've been doing this EE system, scalar light. Wow, I have that sometimes when I go into the light, I'm laying in this reclining chair and it's scalar light. So they call it gosh, what is it? I have to read about it because it's such a cool thing. If you don't mind. No. It's a technology that was designed 20 years ago by Dr. Sandra Rose Michaels. It's so weird. She has a PhD and all this other stuff. She's a scientist. She designed this to generate bioactive energy fields called scalar waves. And this promotes wellness. It helps cell regeneration, improves immune, relief of pain, body detoxification, mood elevation, consciousness, and balancing. So it's of that type of energy shifting. So I know what you're talking about, Bobby, because like sometimes that happens to me when I'm in there. And it's weird because your body vibrates and you can feel the vibration. And then you go, am I going to go out of my skin? And then all of a sudden you go, and then you just relax into it. And then you fall asleep. Like it's weird. You go right to sleep. And I've had some weird moments, like spiritually, like in that, like, oh my God, and I've woke up like, where am I? Like, what? Like a shift, a reality change or something. It's weird. It's so hard to actually verbally describe, but really interesting stuff. So it's like this environment is like 70 to 90 millivolts. Wow. And it's supposed to help you recharge your cells for optimum. So 70 to 90 millivolts is optimum health. Anything below 20 is disease. That's like when you're toxic, when you're, that type of thing. And then that's how people get cancer and all kinds of this stuff because their cells are not regenerating, at an optimum rate. They're at a lower rate, Anyway, it's really interesting. I've been doing this technology for a little while now, just to, and for me, I'm fortunate. I don't have a lot of super illness or anything like that. But I was using it more for an internal spiritual consciousness shift, if that makes sense.
Almost
grounding me deeper.
It sounds like kind of like a form of meditation.
Yeah, but but it was scalar waves.
Yeah, I read about scalar light or treatments or something like several years ago.
Yeah, they're now everywhere.
Are they? I didn't know that.
They're just, they're like 400. What'd you say? He said like there's 400 centers now around the US and the world. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's like, they want to wake people up to our true self, Now,
yes, it's happening.
How quickly, like you're saying it kind of like puts you to sleep. How quickly is it like it puts you to sleep that fast, or it's like a gentle?
Some people just, I've seen people walk in there and just go right to sleep. Probably everybody's different because I think everybody's dealing with different things in their body. So I'm dealing more with making sure I'm at my cells are at optimum healing capacity, and that I'm actually a clearing for more of consciousness, my consciousness, the word, so because that helps me be able to be in service to other people. So otherwise, if I'm all mucked up, then people can't hear it.
It's been a while since I've read about it. Is it supposed to help pain as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, phenomenal. The guy that I got turned on to is a guy named Jason Shirka, and I watch his podcasts and stuff, and he's amazing. He's got Unified Healing is his company, and he was asked to go interview this woman, Dr. Sandra Rose Michael, and he's like, because he had heard about it, and he thought, okay, well, I'll go interview her and stuff like that. He was very skeptical, and you can see it in the interview. And she's brilliant. She talked about it on a multi levels or whatever. But she's a scientist herself. But anyway, she's the one that designed and developed this from some technology connected to Tesla and all these other things. So anyway, very interesting. So he was like, okay, well, he's skeptical, right? So he wants to improve it, right? So one of the things he thought, okay, so their dog, his sister's dog had a big tumor, and they were like, this was not a really good prognosis for this animal. Right. And so he thought, okay, well, I'm going to take the dog in. We're going to hang out in the light. And they did that with this dog for like, I don't know. I don't remember what he said, like a week or something. Tumor's gone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he was like, okay, well, it can't be a placebo because the dog doesn't know.
Right.
It doesn't know. That
exactly.
Right. Now, what kind of tumor, like, was it?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
And I know I worked at the cancer clinic, and our doctor, he was into, we did things with light and sound and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And, so because I remember he would send me for a class. He's like, all right, you're probably gonna think this is weird, but I need you to take a class on how to do this. I'm like, what? I'm doing what with a red light?
Right. Yeah. And it's weird because you guys look at it, and I swear to God, it looks like alien technology.
Oh, wow.
Because it's on these screens, right? And it's going, but I think she said, or someone said it was the Fibonacci sequence. And so it's it's like going backwards, and then it goes forwards, and then it slows down, and it's these interesting colors, and it's a scalar wave.
Okay.
So it's not just light.
Gotcha.
It's a wavelength. You can go check it out. It's like unifiedhealing.com, and it's UNIFYD healing.com.
FYD?
Yeah, FYD. UNIFYD healing.com. And then you could read about it, and they'll tell you where centers are. But it's pretty neat. I'm just like, I've watched this thing explode. I mean, yeah. And I mean, there was a woman, I met this woman at one of the centers. And she was talking to me, she was sharing that she had a stroke, and she lost use of her arm. And so she decided she was going to try this scalar light. And I literally shook her hand, like, and that happened to a friend of mine. She had a stroke, but I told her, look, just talk to this woman, go try it out, work it out. Like a lot of them are nonprofits. So they do sliding scales. So, awesome. It's not, but I guess everybody's on their own journey. Right, Glenn?
They are.
I'm rather intrigued if it worked on a dog, how well that would work on a person.
Right. Yeah. Well, I know, the only thing that happened to me that healed itself, since I've been doing this, was I fell down the stairs, 3 flights of stairs, or three steps, and I flights. I broke my neck. I'm now well. No, I'm a vampire.
Death becomes her over here.
We have been trying to get a vampire. So.
We have.
Here I am. I'm actually 360 years old.
You've never looked younger.
Thank you. Anyway, yeah. So I
we
slipped.
We can align a payment in blood.
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
Yeah. So sorry, 3 steps, and I totally messed up my ankle, and I was like really bad, like hurt, like you know, and my partner goes, yeah, you'll never be free of pain. he's like hurt his body so many times. And
I had the same thing happen. I fell twice and done the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Did it? How long did it take you to heal, or did it ever heal?
It's still not.
That's what he said. He goes, no. He goes, you'll feel this forever. And then the, when you've hurt yourself, and then all of a sudden it gets cold or hot out and it starts aching.
You're like, oh, the weather's changing.
Oh,
that's
that's
what
my knees are. It's going to rain.
What he said. That's what he said. And it started to happen to me, and I'm like, oh shit,
Well, granted, I thought
you got to trick me.
Both of mine are tricks.
I usually sit with how I work, but the past couple weeks I've had to stand, and I'm like, oh, I've just been on my feet too much. I'm getting a lone cankle.
You youngin'.
All these women are older than me and aren't saying a darn thing. I'm like, no, I need to sit down for 30 minutes. I can't feel my ankle.
Oh my God. You're like, and I'm only 20.
You sound like my daughter, and I'm like,
girl, you don't know pain.
Right.
Well, Mama, I think my knees are like yours. I think, yeah, they're bad.
No, you guys got to give me a minute. You got to give me a minute.
Well, the only thing I can say about that was because since I've been doing this, it's completely gone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm intrigued for that, because
right?
that would be fantastic.
I know, because I started down that path of like, oh, ow, oh,
yeah.
Oh.
Can you just order a little one for your house? Like
you can.
Like stick your leg in it. I've got a toe I haven't felt in a year and a half, and I'd love to feel it again.
Oh yeah, no, they have a you can buy some systems for yourself, and a lot of people too that have been creating businesses for that too. So, and they'll come in, they set everything up and train
I've got
you.
The ankle, I've got the sciatica,
I got sciatica too. Dang it!
That's why I can't feel my toes, because sciatica.
See,
but I have a tumor. So
really?
I was generally interested.
You should do it.
Definitely
find. I'm here, aren't I? I am fine.
Yeah. I'm glad you're here.
You're so cute. I'm fine.
Yes, you should try that.
I'm interested.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely go on unifiedhealing.com. UNIFYD healing.
I'm not laughing at you, Glenda.
Oh my God, Brenda.
I'm sorry.
I think you're beyond hope. Dang it.
Hey. You can't give up hope.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I'm lost in the middle of a sentence. I laughed at
Really?
You guys, you're so fun.
Yeah. I can picture like Ryan Reynolds' little legs on Deadpool.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Brenda is in a wheelchair, Glenda, and she only has one leg. We're making fun of her. She used to be on the show as a regular. And then she left. But yeah, we love her to death. So she has some crazy stories. So
sounds like it. Wow.
She recently got bit by a snake.
That one leg survived a snake bite. So
what?
Yeah.
She was saving Putin.
Yeah, she was saving her dog. She put her one good leg between the dog and the copperhead, and the copperhead bit her.
Okay.
And then it stayed attached, and they took it in the ambulance with her to the hospital.
Oh no!
Ouch. Nope. I'm a paramedic, and I said nope. There would have been shots fired. So
right.
Somebody's got to have a pocket knife or something, for God's sakes. So.
Wow. So tell me about that. He stuck to her. He wouldn't let go, or
it was like
between
down
the bones or something.
He got stuck in the ligament or something, and I think the way it is, the fangs are kind of like fish hooks.
Yeah.
And the snake couldn't retract it. So
oh yeah, that was a bad day for him too.
Oh yeah.
I feel like even I, before you stick me in the ambulance, I'm gonna be like, nope, get it off. Get it off now.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he got
I'm
an
sorry.
ambulance ride, didn't make it. So yeah, he didn't do too well.
Yeah, you did it all.
Like, I'm sorry, you cannot ride in the ambulance until you get that out of your leg.
No, and apparently, from what she was saying the other day, one of they had to like cut its teeth off to get the teeth out of her leg.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is that why they had to take her leg off? Or
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
Her good foot.
No,
Her
her
good
one
leg.
good leg she put between her dog and a copperhead.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Those ambulance drivers went home that night like you ain't gonna believe.
Yeah.
HIPAA was violated that day.
I guarantee it.
Oh, that's great.
And it would have been me being like, "Yeah, get this." And her little ass dog that she was trying to save's name is Putin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Russian. He's a Russian dog.
That's a Russian
It's because
Chihuahua.
he's Russian.
Wow.
It's a Russian Chihuahua.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long-haired Chihuahua.
How does that happen?
Only to
don't
Brenda.
know.
Only to
How is this
Brenda.
real? This is a real
Yeah,
story.
true.
She had a tick
Wow.
for a little while after that too.
Glenda,
Oh,
she
yeah.
did it with Twitch. She came on the show and she was twitching, and we were I was making fun of her.
Oh no.
From the
Oh.
anti-venom.
But I love her to death. She actually, I called her today first, and when I had to talk about something, she was the first person I called. So I love her to death. So.
She's fun.
Sounds like a hoot.
Oh,
She
yeah.
is. She is. Glenda, will you come back and see us again? Because we've had so much fun. We've actually run over time. And I mean, I don't mind, but we have another guest waiting, and I don't want to.
Oh,
So no, it's all good. It's all, well,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm
We
sorry. You
don't
can't come on.
No.
but
Go on now.
so,
We'll book you for next week.
Excuse me.
thanks, Bobby. But in all sincerity, will you come back? You've been
No,
great.
I'd love to. You guys are
Oh, man.
awesome. You're so
Oh,
awesome.
This has been a blast.
It's
has
totally
been.
been a blast.
Yeah.
I have so many questions myself now. I'm like, I want to ask Bobby and Sharon, Deanna, and
Well,
you.
I'm on my show. Well, ask me the question.
Right? I have questions.
Well, we will talk again
Okay,
Yes.
good.
as soon as possible. It'd be great.
Okay, good. Well, just let me
I got an
know. And
opening- I got an
Maybe you
opening
can-
next Wednesday if you're free. So
next
actually,
Wednesday.
I do. Next Wednesday show, I got an opening.
Yeah,
if
we
you're
can
free.
do it.
One
You'll
moment,
have
please.
to.
Okay.
You'll have to come sing for us.
Okay.
Oh, that would be cool. I don't know. Would that violate YouTube rules? I don't know.
It's
I
our own
own it.
music.
Yeah, I own it. So
Yeah.
it should be fine. If I sent you like an MP3 or something like that, you're more than welcome to play it. So
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's something else. I do the Thin Line Rock Station. It's a public safety radio station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a jock there 2 days. Well, 3, but right now I'm only on 2 because I'm here in Tennessee. If you want to get some music on the air for first responders, I can hook you up with that too.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome. Yeah.
yeah, first responders, military. So yeah, so
Love it. I don't consider myself rock, but you know.
Well,
It's a little
plays
bit of
everything.
everything.
yeah,
Okay.
I played the Scotsman regularly. If you know what that is. So yeah, it's and I play bluegrass. We play a little bit of everything, but that they call themselves the Thin Line Rock Station. We have a great time. So yeah, I can hook you up there too.
Well, yeah, feel free to whatever you think is appropriate. I'd love to come and hang out with you guys, and next Wednesday looks good. So just reach out to me and we'll hook it up. And
You'll have to come goof on a Saturday sometime too.
Yeah.
Cheyenne will
good.
be emailing you probably before the show's over. So
She already has an email from me, so
oh, Lord.
awesome, Cheyenne. You guys are great. I love it. I've had a really awesome time. You're
It was
good,
fun.
good people. You're good people, and you're fun.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
thank you.
And you're smart. And thank you for asking me really good questions. I appreciate it. Yeah.
It was great. It was
We will
blast.
have more by next time.
Yes.
Okay.
We
Yes, we will.
What was that moment when you? No.
Yes.
Normally, this is where I say, "Where will we see you next?" But we know we're going to see you next. Where we'll see you next. So, and I'm looking forward to it.
Cool.
All right, Glenda. Well, I'm going to let you get out of here, but we will see you next week, and I'll talk to Cheyenne. We might just keep you the whole show.
Sounds
You wanna stay
good.
for 2
All
hours?
right.
No.
Sounds good.
Alright.
Love you guys.
All right. Love you.
too.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye now.
Now.
Bye now, y'all. Bye.
I'm back now.
Go on, get.
Bye now.
Bye now.
Oh my God, that was great. All right, I'm still gonna hit the button, but for the radio producer people, let me find where is that button. I don't even know where the button is.
Hi, Rich Fields here, and come on down. It's time for the Sport Cat Show.
All right. I am so excited about this show so far. We have a next guest, Danny. He is backstage. He's an author. Danny, welcome. I am so sorry we ran over.
Hi, Danny.
Oh, no problem. How's everybody doing?
Great. How are you?
How about you?
Good.
How are you?
Doing good.
Where are you at, Danny? By the way, I forgot to ask you that when I was emailing you.
I'm in Syracuse, New York.
All right.
Okay.
Ooh,
So you're
I
on
got
East Coast
family up
time.
there.
East Coast, yeah.
All
East
right.
Coast, West
Bobby's the only weird one. He's an hour behind us, so but we always tell him he's a little slow anyhow. So
Where are you primarily based?
I'm normally in Atlanta, but I'm temporarily in Knoxville. And go ahead, everybody. You all introduce
I'm in
yourself.
Knoxville, Tennessee, too.
Oh, I'm in
Nice.
Alabama, North Alabama.
North Alabama. Nice.
Yep. Huntsville.
Southern West Virginia.
Southern West Virginia. Okay. I was listening, just to get familiar with the show and everything, to one of the last ones you had, and I know a couple of you were in. Glenn, you were in West Virginia for a while, right? You said you were hiding out in the backwoods or something.
No, that's me hiding out in the backwoods.
Yeah,
You're hiding. Okay.
He grew
Yeah,
up
I'm-
around West Virginia, right?
He was in Virginia.
Me? No, I grew up
Yeah.
in Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia.
Well, I know, but you lived in Virginia for a while, didn't you? Or worked
There's
in
difference
Virginia?
in Virginia and West Virginia. We didn't like them,
Yes.
so we made them go away.
Oh, okay. Wherever.
But no, I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm normally in Atlanta.
Okay.
But I'm here helping some family out, so I'm on my laptop, and it's been a crazy ordeal for me trying to get everything set up and sound normal. So, and I hope I'm doing a good job of it.
Never
So,
sounds
pretty good.
normal.
Hey, you found a much better mic, though.
Yeah, you did.
yes,
Mhm.
yes, I did. So, so Danny, tell us about yourself. You have written several books, and you've got some great paranormal experiences too. So let's hear some things here.
Well, yeah, I'm from New York. I was born in Staten Island, which is one of the 5 boroughs of the city, often called the Forgotten Borough because, well, I've never heard of it. It's forgotten. And
Nobody talks about Staten Island.
nobody talks about Staten Island. No, but I
Hardly.
was born there. My family was from that area, from Brooklyn. They were off the boat from Italy, and they were there ever since. And we moved to Saratoga Springs, which is upstate New York, near Albany, the capital, and that's kind of where I grew up. And
Yeah,
that's
where all my mom's side of the family's from.
in that area, the state.
Lake George,
Oh.
Edward. One of my cousins lives in Syracuse now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Lake George is where I spent a ton of time growing up. I mean, it's a beautiful town. It's a resort
Yeah.
area, pretty much. And
Mhm.
I have a good friend that is, well, he was a police officer in Fort Edward. Now he's a state trooper. But beautiful area. And my parents, so my dad was he did a lot of skiing, and he had this group of people from Staten Island that they would go up and ski in Lake Placid, which is the Adirondacks, where the Olympics were in 1980, Miracle on Ice, all that. And that's how he became familiar with the area. And then a friend of a friend was selling land on the Great Sacandaga Lake, which is it's a big lake, but it's man-made. It was made by damming the Hudson River, well, the Sacandaga River, which feeds into the Hudson River. And I love geography and all this stuff.
Mhm.
They dammed it up for the purpose of controlling the water level in New York Harbor, where the Hudson empties out, which is easily 200 something miles away from where the Sacandaga is. So it's pretty cool. So he had a house on that lake, and he became familiar with the area in Saratoga County and everything. And he always wanted to get back. He was like, I'm going to get off Staten Island someday and go up. And so we did that. And then I grew up there primarily. And then I came to Syracuse for college, and then I did law school here too. So I've been here for 7 years, but I'm going back to Albany.
Oh yeah.
It is. It's a gorgeous place. I feel like a lot of the time, whenever you get deep into upstate New York, it doesn't much look different than leaving West Virginia.
People don't realize that. And what's so fascinating about New York is that besides the city, and you've got Long Island, which is a whole nother world, so many beaches. But you've got really, I mean, Western New York, especially Buffalo, is culturally the Midwest. Buffalo is a very similar city to Cleveland and Detroit, Cincinnati, and it's on Lake Erie, and there's the people there. It's incredibly nice, hardworking, and it's like you feel like you're in the Midwest hospitality. Everybody's so nice. My girlfriend's from out there, and her family's like the nicest people ever, which is funny because my family's like, the stereotype of Italian people from New York City. Make a big deal out of everything, dramatic, loud, judgmental, everything. Everything applies. There's not a single thing that doesn't apply in that category. And everything, and her family's just so go with the flow. And like, at a moment's notice, let's have a party in the backyard. My mom would be like, well, where's the food going to come from? I got to go out. And it's completely opposite. But that's, Western New York. And then you've got, so it's interesting, most people consider New York City and upstate, but upstate is divided into 10 different regions. You've got where I'm from, Central New York, which is similar to Buffalo, but more similar to the rest of the North Country, which is sort of the Adirondacks over. And you go to Southern New York State, the Southern tier, and people don't realize, the Appalachian Mountains run through New York State, goes all the way up to Nova Scotia. The Adirondacks are part of it. They just have a different name. But in the southern tier of the state is the Allegheny Plateau, and that's sort of like a foothill region of the Appalachians, but it is very similar, very similar. I mean, I've only driven through West Virginia and Kentucky, but when you're in the southern tier, it feels the people there, extremely nice, but unfortunately, there's a lot of people that aren't that well off, very similar to the whole Appalachian region, and the landscape. I mean, if you've ever, there's a Southern Tier Welcome Center. It's a rest stop on 81, which does 81, I think that runs through, does it run through Knoxville?
It runs through Virginia and Knox County, so it runs all the way down from there,
So it runs all the way down. Okay,
that's
so I knew it was pretty long. It ends up in Watertown, which is on Lake Ontario on the very east side, but it under when you're under Syracuse in the southern tier region, the views are spectacular. I mean, they're nothing like the mountains in West Virginia, but they're like scaled down versions of the mountains in West Virginia, and they're coated in trees, and there's valleys and dips, and I always try to capture it, usually in unsafe ways while I'm driving, and I like roll the window down, and I'm like driving, and I'm like trying to hold it, and then I look later, and I'm like, oh shoot, that was you can't. But I mean, so
it's funny going up there whenever I was younger, because my mom and my aunts and my uncles all grew up out there, and where my aunt lives in Lake George was where we were staying, and then we went to Fort Edward to see my grandparents, and my grandpa was like, well, we're gonna take y'all out, where we grew up and everything. And I was just like, this doesn't look like what I expected it to. I was like, we might, and then we're out on the side of the road with somebody that they knew, and I'm mooing at the cows because they're coming over on that side of the farm, and I was like, this looks just like home.
It's very, people don't realize that, the Big Apple is, it is half of our population in the state, so a lot of people are centered down there, but there's so many different cultures up here. There's so many, I think this state showcases nature more than most other states. I won't challenge your states, but
yeah.
but it's like, I mean, we've got something like 4,000 lakes. We've got the Hudson River, the Mohawk River, and people don't realize the Delaware River starts in New York State. That serves as the border between New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and runs through Philly and Wilmington and all that. And the Susquehanna River starts in Otsego Lake, which is where Cooperstown is, and the Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame. It starts
Oswego?
there.
Did you say Oswego?
No, Otsego.
Oh.
Yeah. And so it starts there, and it's kind of a trickle, and then Binghamton, which is in the southern tier, again, a city surrounded by beautiful landscape. It has like 3 rivers or something converge on the city. One of them is the Shenango River. It might just be 2, the Shenango and the Susquehanna. The Susquehanna River, it goes all the way down through Pennsylvania, sort of bisects the state, and then it actually empties into the Chesapeake. And so there's so many rivers, and you've got the Finger Lakes, which is a beautiful region by itself, and even the Finger Lakes itself. We could go on about this forever. The northern part.
You really know your geography.
I love geography. The northern part is flat, very pretty, but flat. But the southern part of the Finger Lakes dip into the southern tier, so that's that more like Appalachian aesthetic of the rolling hills and all that. And then forget the Adirondacks. I mean, the Adirondacks, you've got 46 high peaks. And then you've got, besides that, you've got smaller mountains, and you've got lakes just everywhere. I mean, they just litter the place. And there's some lakes that don't even allow houses on them because they're more preservation.
Really?
The Adirondacks so all the land in the Adirondacks is in sort of a conservancy where it belongs to the state and it's forever wild. It can't be touched.
Okay.
So if people have private property in the Adirondacks, it goes back over a century. And it's just been acquired by different but there's no private land being created in the Adirondacks. Okay. And you can't just go in and buy a plot of land that wasn't already privately owned. So there's lakes that you can't actually put a house on it, which is interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. That is weird.
Well, it's kind of cool because they're preserving the nature around the lakes.
It's
not being by man. So
there was a lot of mining in the beginning in the 1700s for iron ore, and there were huge iron ore deposits, and there were towns that were set up around that. And then there was, with the advent of steel, obviously the demand for the iron increased, and then it became a problem. It was everybody wants to drill everywhere, and this stuff is buried under mountains, which are huge. Some of them are 4,000 feet. So you're gonna have to rip into these mountains, and so they wound up, when they did the Forever Wild, they couldn't create any more mines, and the mining operations kind of stopped because once the wells dried up, there was you couldn't go out and search for a different place. And they also had a logging industry, a huge logging industry, and there's towns that were set up just for that. And then again, they limited how there was no more expansion of that, which has kind of been a common theme in New York State, and it's a double-edged sword. We lead the country in conservation and all that, but at the same time, our economic prospects have been limited because of that. The Southern Tier is a perfect example where, the Southern Tier is all shale, and a lot of the waterfalls, and they're known for their waterfalls down there, especially in Ithaca, Buttermilk Falls, Taconic Falls, Ithaca Falls. They all cut through shale, and if you go down into the shale, I mean, there is oil for days, years. I mean, we could probably, but we banned hydraulic fracking in the whole state. And so then you have a situation, the whole state. You can't frack in New York State. And I understand the concern, especially at the beginning. There were videos coming out of Pennsylvania of like fire coming out of faucets and stuff like that. So they were trying to avoid that. But you don't want that. But at the same time, you had farmers farmers rarely break even as it is.
Right.
And so it's good if they could use their land for something else. And so a lot of them wanted to drill on it, and you couldn't do that. So what a lot of them wound up doing was clear cutting their land and selling the timber. And so you're like, which is worse? I don't know. It's both. It's a trade off. And some people think even one of the reason the steel industry left this state was because the mines in the Adirondacks closed and the mines opened up on the Great Lakes in Indiana and Michigan, and so it became more economical and logistically feasible to move everything that way.
True. Are there a lot of
told you more than you ever wanted to know.
No, that's fine. Are there a lot of caves underneath from where they mined?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's in some of the ghost towns you can go in and there are some caves. Yeah.
I was wondering about that.
I just learned that New York was bigger than Alabama, and I don't like it.
There's a lot of land there.
There is a lot of land, and you don't realize how freaking big it is until
you really don't.
I spent my life. I would pull up a map, but So I spent my life before I went to college pretty much in a straight line because I was at the bottom in New York City, the bottom of the Hudson River, and we moved pretty much straight up the Hudson River, straight north to Saratoga. Saratoga County borders the Hudson River, and then it goes into the Adirondacks, and it actually starts in this. Oh, there you go. So, so you go right. So you see where 87 is, Interstate 87. That follows the Hudson River. And I'm from Staten Island, which is Long Island's the big one, and then Staten Island is a small one that's really closer to New Jersey than anything.
Let's go back down here.
Yeah, right.
And there's Staten
Island. Just south of Bayonne. There's there's Staten Island. So I was born on the North Shore of that, right by the Verrazano Bridge. And
right
so, what's that?
Where the hospital is.
Well, that was the hospital I was born in. I can confirm. Staten Island University Hospital was the one I was born in, and you don't want to wind up in that hospital. Let me tell you. So we followed. There's New York Bay up there, and we followed Hudson River all the way north. So I spent the entirety of my childhood and pretty much till I was 18 in that corridor. Straight up to Albany area. Yeah. And so it wasn't until I went to college in Syracuse that I started driving west. And that was the first time that I realized, holy cow, this state is big. And then after that, when I met a girl in Buffalo, that is at the complete western edge of New York State. Oh, wow. And so, even though you're fact checking me with this map, technically it looks like this.
Well, I'm just following along here.
So it's it's almost the westernmost, but you get the idea.
It's pretty far.
I believe
it's right there.
That's not wrong.
Yeah, well, you've got down by Erie, Pennsylvania, and the Jamestown is down there and everything. That's It's where
it's not a university course. Nobody's getting graded here.
No.
I will tell you, when I was a flight medic and we would fly into Buffalo, I was always surprised. There was more pickup trucks and large belt buckles than I ever anticipated in New York. And I was so shocked. Everybody was like, I was like, am I in Tennessee?
There's a lot of farms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they have a lot of cattle there.
Cattle. So it's a huge dairy farming state. Yeah. Dairy farming is a huge industry here.
Yeah.
One of my best friends from college actually his family used to run a dairy farm. Now they just focus on crops in the Mohawk Valley area, which is just east of Syracuse, see where Utica is on the map, like in there. But out in Western New York around Buffalo is, they're known for their produce. I mean, they have apple orchards for as far as the eye can see. People say those are the best apples in the state. As a North Country man myself, I would say no. We have the best apples in the Saratoga region, but they have apple. I mean, this state, there's a reason the apple is one of our symbols. It's everywhere. My good friend Richie owns a cidery called Idiot Brothers. I'll give him a plug in Ithaca, and he has no problem getting New York State apples. They're everywhere.
And today I just learned that's why it was named the Big Apple. I did not know that.
I didn't know that there were that many apple orchards.
I just learned the word cidery.
Well, if you're ever up here and you're crossing through Ithaca, he's a good dude, and he started the business from scratch, just him and his brother. Despite the name, they are not idiots, but they are.
Idiot Brothers.
Yeah, it's great. They got a little tasting room, and they started out good. They just started last year and they're doing good.
Is it hard cider, which is what we call with alcohol?
Not apple juice. Not apple juice.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Talking about like Angry Orchard kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, that's beer.
Okay. Angry Orchard. No, yeah, that's a cider.
It's a cider.
Well,
tastes like
apple
juice.
Yeah, you're right. I guess
great with tacos.
I like Angry Orchard.
Hot tacos and Angry Orchard.
I bet Bellissimo better.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, good stuff.
So, I'm curious about some of your paranormal stories, Danny. Growing up in New York.
Me too.
Yeah. So in Saratoga, there is a restaurant called the Old Bryan Inn that is, it's supposed to be haunted. And it's like well known. It's like documented. There's a sign there. There's even like instructions on where to go. And it's like you go in the bathroom upstairs and there's a door there. And supposedly there's a lot of noises that come from the other side of that door. And I tried it a lot when I was a little kid. And I can't say it ever happened, which was a bummer. Unfortunately, in my life, so the house that I pretty much grew up in was a new construction, so nobody had ever died there or anything. And there wasn't really a lot of opportunity for that. But nearby, the neighborhood was a really old cemetery, and all of the founders of the town were buried in the cemetery. And so, there was a Gaylor Road in my neighborhood, and Gaylor is buried in there, and there's a Carr Road, and Carr is buried in there, and Jones Road, Jones is buried in there. And so my buddies and I used to make YouTube videos. We used to go into the cemetery, and we used to have this, it was an app, so who even knows if it was like an app on an iPod Touch, and it was supposed to pick up like electromagnetic frequencies, and we used to find stuff, but again, who knows? It was like, I don't know, but we used to make videos sort of like first person perspective, where we would strap it on like a body camera and walk around and stuff. And so that was interesting, and I have had so many people that I've encountered that have had experiences, and I've always wondered, like, what's wrong with me? How come nobody ever came to me personally and and so the idea fascinates me so much, though, because throughout pretty much all of human civilization until recently, it's been an accepted idea that there's souls that come to you in the earthly realm. And this was like, whether you're talking about the Bible or any other ancient religious text, it was like a common, I remember learning in a class in college that, supposedly, like when Jesus rose from the dead, most people just figured it was an apparition. They didn't think it was a person. And so it was so well accepted. And so it makes me wonder, is there a concerted effort by people who want to keep our focus here on material things and stuff like that to make it out like, the people that believe in that stuff are kooks or whatever. But I love talking about it, and I'm doing research for one of my sci-fi books. I got very deep into the quantum realm, and so I read about it. I didn't visit, but there was something I read that was, I know. Sorry, the stories aren't going to be that cool, but there was something I read about how when atoms are in a certain location, they interact with the atoms around them, and they create a certain electromagnetic field. And then when those atoms aren't around anymore, they leave an imprint, sort of like an electromagnetic imprint around them. And so who knows? Maybe that's the physical manifestation. And someday, scientifically, they'll be able to explain that, when they finally get to the bottom of the concept of what a soul is, they'll be able to pinpoint the quantum physical sort of manifestation of that.
Hopefully.
Have you seen it's a YouTube channel, it's called Dust, and they make short films, sci-fi short films. And they have there's one with Marissa. They have a dead body or somebody that dies inside of a laboratory, and it invented a technology to capture a soul.
You cut out.
Interesting.
What'd you say?
And it's amazing. It's got the guy from Old School in it, and Marissa Tomei, and it shows the body, the soul come out, and it can't get out, like it's flying around, and it's something evil is coming. You can see like darkness, and the soul is freaking out, and they had to open the top to let it out.
So it was a movie?
It's a sci-fi channel called Dust on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Is it a show or a movie?
It's a short film.
It's about 10 minutes.
Short film. Sorry.
But you're talking about technology. That's what I thought of. It is amazing. I'm trying to find what it's called. It's like the most popular Dust one.
Well, I remember they said at one point in time, and I think it's been proven wrong now, but that they had weighed people right before they died, and then after they died, they weighed different. But I think that
turned out to not be real.
Yeah,
How did it?
I think there's a Dan Brown book about it, and it turned out was fake. I think it might have been The Lost Symbol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
At the beginning of it, they weighed the person that died, and it was like 0.000 lighter.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and
it happened in like 1904, actually. So,
interesting.
The technology's changed a bit since then, so.
I don't know why we couldn't do it. I feel like they could do that pretty quickly. Like, people are dying all the time. Like, hey, anybody's popping.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they could do it in hospice. It's easy.
Yeah, the hospice lady on. Here it is.
Let me weigh you.
It's so interesting, so many theories as to what consciousness is. I mean, there's a working definition, which is, an awareness of your place in your environment, something like that, psychologically. But, they can't really pinpoint what exactly in the brain biologically is causing that. And then, once you bring the physical aspects into it and the concept, one of the laws of thermodynamics that energy can't be created or destroyed. So if it is an energy source that is creating consciousness, then it can't go anywhere. When you die, I mean, it doesn't just disappear. Right. So it's got to go somewhere. And there's a lot, and it's so interesting. Like, science has always interested me, and I was an environmental studies major and stuff. But there's so much dismissal of anything that is supernatural and metaphysical. But another point, there's like something like 90-something% of the universe is like this dark matter that nobody knows what it is. And it's like, hello, have you considered it might be it might be the spiritual realm that is there. And something that people have accepted for forever until recently. And they'll say, well, they didn't have the scientific technology back then to discover this and whatnot. And first of all,
they don't know that they did or not.
Not giving ancient people enough credit, because there's a lot of stuff that they knew how to do that we're finding out, and we're like, whoa. Like, for example, when someone has brain swelling, they do a craniotomy to put a hole in your skull to relieve some of the pressure. And they used to find all these skulls in ancient Greece with holes drilled in them, and they thought that it was some like cockamamie treatment for a headache that was like, oh, you got a pain there, let's drill a hole in. Oh, these stupid ancient Greeks. And then they found this text, this medical text that was like, if someone hits their head really hard, they, I'm paraphrasing, but their brain swells up and you have to relieve the pressure. And it's like, how would they have known that? I mean, from what we know, it's not like they had X-ray machines that they could see into the brain, but they knew this somehow. So I think, first of all, you're not giving them enough credit. And second of all, I mean, maybe because of our technology and so much electromagnetism in the airwaves, that maybe the occurrences have become less frequent than they would have been. Who knows?
I talk to a lot of anthropologists. They get really mad about attributing every technological thing in the ancient realm to aliens. Like, humans are much smarter than we think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I do think, it kind of makes you wonder, though, some of the hieroglyphics that are in the pyramids and even back in the paintings, like that, some of the old paintings and stuff that had things in the sky, objects in the sky.
Oh yeah.
And how they built the pyramids. I mean, they've supposed that they could have rolled those giant stones on logs or whatever. But the precision with the way they're placed, I mean, you couldn't get a sheet of paper through them.
Yeah.
And I don't see how they could have cut them. I mean, unless they had some type of water, what do you call it? Like a water laser or some kind of.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Some kind of technology that would have helped place them, or I don't know. It's just
one hypothesis was it was sound that moved them, a vibration that made them weightless.
No, I hadn't heard that.
Maybe.
That one either.
There's all kinds of them out there. I mean, you can find an Egyptian stone moving theory, throw a rock.
Well, yeah, but it just amazes me that
and the distance it was from the pyramids.
Right. Plus, we know now, Project Blue Book, the government has covered that stuff up since before the Roswell incident.
As they have most things.
As they have most things.
What was it called before Roswell? It's called, I don't know.
I don't remember what other town it happened in, but I think we probably had alien technology for a long time, and so a lot of the things that we have access to, and the government has access to more than what we have, that we probably have less than what our ancestors had if they had a better communication with aliens than we do. I don't know.
That's interesting. Well, Danny, what do you think about ET? Do you think that we're alone, or?
I think the likelihood that we're alone is probably pretty low, and I mean, I understand there's so many criteria for a planet to be able to sustain life, but first of all, that's as we know it. So, we don't even know what we don't know. I mean, there might be life forms that can survive in different conditions. And then second of all, the explored universe is a fraction of, it's like a grain of sand in the actual universe. Yeah. So, nothing that we have nothing that we have the capability to explore might have life in it, but who knows what is further beyond. I mean, something that's a light year away takes a year to get to, traveling at the speed of light, and we can't get anywhere close to that. Yeah. That was why. So when I wrote Entanglement, my sci-fi book, I was looking for a place that I could put a planet that would sustain life. And there's, the nearest thing being a light year away, it's like, forget it. There's nothing. And I wanted to keep it within the realm of what was possible in the near distant future. We're not going to create anything that can travel at the speed of light in the near distant future. So in the 2040s, 2050s, I had these hydrogen fuel cell rockets that could travel much faster than the rockets that we have now. But this planet still had to be way closer than any known planet that could, any exoplanet that could sustain life. So I wound up putting it in a made up galaxy, in a made up solar system that was not too far away. But the spin I put on it was, what if you get to a planet and not only is there intelligent life there, but they're humans from Earth? And so the mystery of the book is, well, how did they get here? And who are they? And that, was very, I wanted to do something like that because the market is so saturated with stories of going on another planet and there's someone there, but they're usually an alien life form of some kind that we're not familiar with. But in terms of who's come to visit us, I mean, at this point, it's gone beyond. Like there was a time where, first of all, no one had cameras on them. So if something happened and they said something, it was easy to dismiss that as, well, you've got no evidence of it.
Right.
And then for decades, the cameras that existed were not too good. And so you got this blurry thing, and you're like insisting that it was a tic-tac shaped object that was flying across the sky faster than anything that we have. And all everybody sees is like a blur. Right. But now it's come to a point where two things. One, the technology is so good that it's impossible to mistake. It's like, okay, we caught this on camera. And then on the other side of it is the type of people that are reporting it, military fighter pilots and those sort of people that have a lot of credibility. And when you think of a Navy pilot or an Air Force pilot, you don't think of some kook that's going to make up a story about, seeing something in the air. And so between that and the scientific community, I don't know if anybody listens to Joe Rogan, but he's had Michio Kaku on a lot, who I used to listen to when I was a kid. I used to be obsessed with Michio Kaku talking about time travel and string theory. And he's one of like the leading voices that's saying whatever these objects are, they're defying the laws of physics. And they're moving from point A to point B in a speed that, we don't have anything that can travel that speed. And so he's saying like, could be Chinese or Russian, in which case we're in trouble because we obviously don't have what they have, but more likely, it's something else. And then, the Pentagon report about finding biological life that wasn't human. And so what I was thinking when I read that was, well, just because it's not human doesn't mean it's not from Earth. But then the question becomes, well, what's more probable? That a donkey got into a UFO and a donkey got into a spacecraft and was flying around, or even an ape, or that it's something from another planet? I mean, I know the Russians sent monkeys up into space and dogs and stuff, but I mean, it seems kind of almost as far-fetched, if not more far-fetched, than something coming from another planet. And then I know we were talking about before Roswell, but it's interesting the timeline. We started setting off nukes all over the place, and then stuff started to show up. And so, there's some people that, think it was like scare tactics or whatever. But then on the other hand, maybe there's a lot of people that are saying that we weren't really worth checking out before that. And then all of a sudden, that there's stages in human civilization. And one of the last stages is the ability to sort of self-destruct, to create something that is so powerful that we could destroy ourselves, which we could. I mean, while this podcast is happening, the Earth could be destroyed in under a minute. If everybody fired an intercontinental ballistic missile at once. So all of a sudden, whoever was watching us was saying,
just kind of like, all right, they're doing good so far. Oh,
it's time to look and see what's going on, even from the perspective of their own self-preservation, because it's not a far leap from a nuclear bomb and space travel to a nuclear bomb on a spaceship. And then now we're a threat to them, even though we might not even, know where they are. So the timeline's interesting. And then some people frame it more as a supernatural thing, not necessarily alien in the sense that they are mortal beings from a different planet, but in the sense that they're from the spiritual realm and they're, crossing over dimensions and or what have you. And that's interesting too, because that sort of, we know that humans have been seeing this stuff forever. So which is it? Maybe it's we've been visited by other planets. Maybe it's we've been visited from a different realm.
Maybe
and a lot comes into that with, not just your beliefs, but your religion as well.
Yes.
That religious theory stuff has only come around. Well, it's been probably 20 years now, but the last 15 or so years, where people have said that it's fallen angels and
Nephilim.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but they started before the 90s. I've never heard that. and then people started saying it was fallen angels, that aliens were fallen angels. And before the 90s, you never heard that.
Nope.
I don't know where that theory came from, but
and some people say that's what Bigfoot is.
I think a lot of that comes to people's mind as a, this is what's safe, this is what I know.
Maybe so, but I think it's crazy. Sorry.
I mean, I agree as, somebody who is partly religious.
I'm religious.
I think it's crazy.
I mean, I consider myself a Christian, but probably not.
You need to straighten up. That's what you need to do.
Probably not a Christian that most Christians would think about being Christian.
I'm right there with you. But it's like, no.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird. It's a weird thing. I don't.
You can tell when they're trying to sound really important because they say Nephilim. That's how you know somebody's trying to sound smart. Oh, it's not a fallen angel, Nephilim.
An aristocrat.
Leviathan.
But I don't understand how humans and people think that can be so arrogant to think that God would make if that's who or whatever thing you worship.
I don't even think necessarily it's arrogance. I think it's safety.
Well, it could be safety. It could be arrogant.
I don't know what it is. Therefore, it's an angel.
I think that's the reason non-believers are so defensive.
You think so?
I think they're the people who are so defensive about not being anything and out there, but like us, ones and zeros.
Yeah.
I think they're doing it out of safety because they get mad about them. Why are you so mad?
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I don't get mad at people like that because I get it. It's not inside your safe bubble.
Well, maybe I just need to change my perspective of how I look at them, because I think I look at them like, why would they be angels? I get mad.
I hear more aliens being demons than I do fallen angels.
Well, fallen angels are of the devil, according to the Bible.
Well,
I look at it more as
right.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Satan was a fallen angel.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it more as like people are like, oh well, these are angels that God has sent to us, and I mean, is that possible? Maybe for some people's religion,
maybe,
but I think the likelihood of that is relatively slim.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is why. I mean, like if it's not a safety thing, why would you be so arrogant to think that an omnipotent God could not create another world in our universe that's so vast?
Well, here's
their way of saying covering that. It's their way of covering that base by saying that it's all biblical, even though like they don't have to tell you. You don't have to tell the ancient people about aliens.
Well, true, I guess.
That's what I always thought.
They had proof put right in front of them, and they were like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah,
no.
I always looked at it like, we like fish, and so we got fish tanks. How do we know that God doesn't like different fish, and we're not just in one of his fish tanks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. People find it hard to reconcile, like, the Bible with the possibility of life on other planets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I've always thought, how do we know that the Bible isn't just the story of us? It's the story of human civilization. And then they got a Bible on whatever planet, they're from, and they call it.
I just assumed it was. I just assumed that's what it was the whole time.
Yeah.
Why do we care about what they're doing?
I think there are a lot of people also that putting it like that would be blasphemous to even cross the idea.
That's true.
Well, to some it would, yeah, I guess.
That's why they call them angels, because it covers that base for them.
It covers, yeah. Which is always another interesting thing to me. I mean, sort of when the church system or whatever system becomes, the purpose shifts from serving God to being a human power structure.
Right.
And then they've got to keep you in line. And it's interesting, some of the Catholic thinkers of 1,000 years ago, their philosophy was God gave us a piece of him in the form of not only our ability to love, but our ability to reason, which is something that's a sort of a higher order than the rest of the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
And so the way to get closer to God, what Aquinas said, the way to get closer to God is to question and to try to get to the bottom of it and not stop because it contradicts doctrine that was written by humans. And so, yeah, I think we're supposed to also. I agree with that completely.
And not meant to be taken so word for word literally.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And supposedly there may still be books there may be books that haven't been found and or changed or left out from what I've
to serve certain purposes along the way.
Exactly.
Depending on,
Are they hidden in Vatican City? One or the other.
Exactly.
Oh, no, God knows what they got in there. Probably literally God knows what they got in there.
You're exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's true. It's true.
You're right. So
well, it's so it's also interesting, I love looking at different religions and how the environment shaped. So, my philosophy has always been, there's probably a singular godly being, and I'm Catholic, born Catholic. It's kind of comes with the territory being Italian. You just kind of shoved in the water when you're born and confirmed it. But, but I've always thought, God created such a diversity of human beings that it made sense to present himself in different ways, depending on where. So that's why, a lot of times people's, the religion reflects the environment. And in the last book that I wrote, Bay of Smokes, that was the one that Glenn found and commented on that and stuff. And so that it takes place in Los Angeles. It's about a wildfire that's set by an arsonist during the Santa Ana wind season, which is dry, windy season. The dry wind starts in this basin in Nevada, where most basins have an access to the ocean or to a big, like a Great Lake. But this basin, the Colorado River ends, and it just kind of ends in the desert. And so it creates this pressure system that pushes this dry desert air out and toward Los Angeles. And it does two things. Number one, it dries everything, makes it flammable, and then the wind propels the fires forward. Yeah. And that area has always been prone to that. So the book starts from the perspective of the ancient native indigenous inhabitants of Los Angeles Bay Area that they were called the Tongva. And the Tongva, their god, sort of was linked to the fire. They almost worshiped the fire because they thought, well, this is such a powerful force of nature that to them was unstoppable. Even to us now, I mean, it's our own hubris to think that we can control fire. And that's the point of the book, is that as advanced as we will get, we will never, ever conquer nature fully.
Exactly.
And so, looking at it from their perspective, they worshipped it. They said, this is, everything we do revolves around the fire. The wildfires would come through and clear out what was dead so that it would make room for new life. And when the conquistador, this is all in the book, Juan Cadrillo Rodriguez showed up in the bay, he saw so many fires that he named it the Bayo de Fumos, or Bay of Smokes, which is what the book is named after. And the point of the book is sort of like, it was the Bay of Smokes when you showed up, and you thought that you could you thought that you could win. You thought that you could sort of subjugate the people already living there and make them Spanish or make them Catholic or whatever. And eventually, those people blended in, and then you built a metropolis. And this is where the movies of the world come from. And this is where, if you want to be a model, you got to go there. You want to be a singer, you want to be an actor, you got to go there. And it's a global city. And you look at it, and it is brick and steel contrasted against nature. And they think we will be safe from, the wildfires, that was back, like we were talking about. That was back when the stupid humans lived, when they didn't have the technology that we do now. That was, we have planes that could drop retardant out of the sky, and we have and the book is the theme of that is no, you can't. You're not gonna. There's never gonna be a point in history if there's ever a fire that decides, if a fire is capable of deciding anything, that decides I'm going to sweep from the San Gabriel Mountains to the Pacific Ocean, there's nothing anybody can do to stop it.
No.
And, the book is about, obviously, a heroic arson investigator who's trying to figure out who's setting these. And that's another theme, is what happens when the force of a madman meets a force of nature. And, the capability of people who are going through their own personal hell to make hell for everybody is one of the themes. And then you've got nature that is indifferent. It's not even immoral. It doesn't care. It's not going to, it doesn't matter what you think, what you believe, who you're related to, who your family is, what kind of life you have. It's amoral to that. And then you combine that with somebody who is nefarious, and I think that there's a pretty good chance that could create an unstoppable force. And that's what the book is about. But to go back to what we were talking about, religion is as much the function of people's environments as it is the word of God. And I think it's the word of God shaped in such a way that resonates with people who live in ridiculously different places from one another.
Yeah, your book sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm ready to read it.
Sounds like Dan Brown.
That's on my list.
What was the name of that again?
Yeah,
Bay of Smokes is the most recent one, and that's the one. It's doing pretty good, and I've been told. I mean, I'll be honest. I'll tell you everything that people have told me. People have told me that the character development could be more, that it's not as much a story of an individual changing and becoming a different person, but it's gripping because the story is meant to make you feel the hopelessness of, oh shoot, we might be the most advanced life form that's ever walked this planet. We might be at the top of the animal kingdom. We might, but at the end of the day, we're kind of just advanced apes living at the mercy, the same mercy that everything else is living. And the apex predator will always be Mother Earth.
Yeah.
Well, me personally, if you've got a good story like that, you can kind of look over what little bit of, if there is a lack of character development. If it's got you by the shirt and you're like, okay, then.
I mean, look at the Goonies. They had no character development. Everybody says it's classic.
Oh God! Just compare the rest of the Goonies.
I'm just saying.
There's a valid point.
It is a valid point.
It's a truth.
Sometimes it's not necessary. Sometimes it depends on what the purpose is, what you're looking to do.
Yeah, that's
a story.
What did you say, Bobby? It sounded like before that.
It sounded like a Dan Brown book.
Oh,
yes.
Dan Brown, Michael Crichton kind of book.
Yeah.
Especially that tagline: "When does the force of a madman meet a force of nature?" Like, ooh.
Yeah.
Right.
New York bestseller. Al Roker must read.
Yes.
Al Roker.
It's on Oprah's book list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Million Little Fires.
There's always going to be these naysayers about you could do this, you could do that. Well, go
but
write your own book.
It? Yeah, all right.
Write your own damn book.
Yeah.
Said he'll do what he wants.
I mean, that's kind of been the overall assessment. I mean, I've written stuff that I thought was good, and then it turned out to be eh. And then when I read it again, I was like, oh, that's eh. And then there's been other stuff I've written, like Entanglement, my sci-fi book. No one's had a bad thing to say about it. Yeah. And then there's this one that's like, I don't know if it's just, it's complicated or it's dark or, it was my first psychological thriller. So it was definitely more chilling.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens with it, but it's doing pretty good so far. And this is great. I mean, this is the first time someone's ever asked me to come on a podcast to talk about a book, so that's pretty cool.
I love it. I'm glad we worked our way around to that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, let's see here.
That's good.
It's in paperback, Kindle, audiobook, all the usual suspects.
Have you ever been asked to do like a Netflix or not Netflix, but a movie adaptation of any of them?
Well, I haven't been asked to do much, so no.
I was gonna say, 'cause that one sounds. They both sound good, but that one sounds like Tommy Lee Jones is just itching to play a part in it.
What, the fire one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He would be good.
He would be
good. He plays a good. Yeah.
It's in my Audible. It's in my Audible library now.
That's what I'm going to do.
Thank you.
I'm going to do that next.
I'm still old school.
A while ago about the what we don't know about the stupid humans. I always go. It's completely fictional, but I always go back to the quote of "History became legend, and legend became myth." Like we don't know, like cave paintings, like or what they say. Oh, there's a crazy hairy man lives beyond those mountains. Oh, that's just Grandpa that sees a bear.
You don't know if it's a bear.
Like, well, you don't know what he saw. I mean,
yeah.
I think.
Were you just quoting Lord of the Rings there?
It is. That's why I said it was fiction.
Yeah.
I think Jason McLean, the other author, he's the one that said it about the dragon in Paris that they had it on display that the farmer found, and it was. And if you look at it, it's a ramphactoid pterosaur that they called a dragon.
Ah. They had it on the bones on display in Paris.
Yeah, I think it was in the 16th century, 16th or 15th. The farmer killed a dragon, and it was as big as a hawk, a hawk tua. But see what I did there? Yeah, I'm tying it in. It's all circling back.
Breathe fire on that thing.
Yeah.
You feel me? By the way, one of my podcast guests is a kinfolk of hers, and that's another story.
My goodness.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, they go back and they say it's a dragon, but it's really just a pterosaur. It's got the one hook on the nose, the one tooth, and it's got the diamond shaped tail, and the webbed wings with the. That's what it was. I mean, but they called it a dragon because that's what they call any lizard that wasn't.
Okay.
If you look at it, if you Google it, it's just a dried up pteranodon.
Huh.
Because those things exist. They exist on Papua New Guinea right now.
Oh, do they?
But nobody wants to talk about it. And they see them in Texas.
Yes.
Oh.
It's like, well, I mean, we're just now admitting that there's actually monkeys in Florida. I mean,
yeah.
So,
well, that's another thing.
It didn't exist.
There's so much we don't know about our own planet.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that haven't been contacted. There's probably probably as much about the sea as we do about space. And the audacity of humans. To make it biblical again, there's a part of Genesis that talks about it's a reference to an ocean under the surface.
Yeah.
And just recently they've discovered this vast, they thought like there's the crust and then you go into the mantle. Turns out between that there's like a decent amount of water.
Yeah.
And so, number one, I mean, just because we're humans and look to serve our own purposes, they're like, can we get into that? Because we're kind of running out. Yeah. But then there's also people saying, wow, I mean, that's kind of interesting that these ancient people that supposedly came up with these stories out of thin air in the Middle East in 5000 BC might have known what they were talking about.
Right.
What about the lake that was so what's the word? Salinous? So it was so rich
in salt.
It was under the ocean. They pull up to it, and there's like a lake under the ocean that's got so much. That's so salty that a little submarine couldn't go down in it. And the guy that found it, they killed him.
What?
Yeah, it's actually like there's a video of the lake that he saw. It's on the internet, and he pulls up to it in his little submarine, James Cameron style, and he sees the mussel shells around it, and the mussels laying around the side of this lake, and the waves are whipped, or they're doing the wave thing, and he tries to go into it, He tries to go into it and go down deeper, and it was so
salty.
What is the word for saline? So salty,
Saline,
like it did. Salatness.
Salinated?
I don't know, but like you know how you can float in Salt Lake, because of its salinity, and he couldn't get in. It was
saliness.
Well, it was so dense. It was so dense with saline that his submarine could not go into it. Like bounced off of it like a trampoline.
Wow.
He comes back up and releases the video a week later, killed in a helicopter accident.
Holy mackerel!
True, all true. That's 100%. Google it. It's on the internet.
Wow.
Abraham Lincoln. But it happened like this. It's the craziest thing when you see it. It looks like you're in the dark woods and you walk up on a lake, and it's just water and it's lapping and there's shells around it and animals.
Wow.
It's
nobody knew. Nobody knew where it was except him.
And that is then when Godzilla comes out.
Yeah. That's the plot of the Meg. He was down under something like that, and they punctured.
Right.
They punctured that little boundary, and it came up.
Oh,
you're right.
Well, what is it? The Dead Sea is now it's becoming living again. I mean, there's fish.
The semi-alive sea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's becoming alive again. It's becoming freshwater, and there's fish in it again, and things are growing around it. Just really weird.
Our world is changing, and we didn't know it.
It needed a little bit of global warming. That's all it needed.
That's probably what it was.
Yeah. And then I read a story the other day that they're saying that we're actually in the ending of the ice age, and it's not that it's global warming; it's that the ice age is now ending. So
yeah, I read that too.
Yeah. Do we know what we don't know? I mean,
nobody knows.
That's to know enough. The way they call it, the Dunning-Kruger, to know enough about something that you think that you know, but
overly confident,
not enough to know enough that you think you're right, not enough to know you're wrong. And the climate change thing is a perfect example of that, because there's good evidence that the rate of warming has been so much faster in the last 100 years than centuries previous, and then they've also they've linked that to the if you look inside the ice, there's carbon dioxide that's trapped, and they could find that there's more of it recently than there was before, so then they link it to that. But at the same time, it's like, well, we've only recorded temperatures for 150 years, if that, and again, the thermometers probably weren't that good, so it's hard to contextualize in the history of the entire Earth. Do we really know? And so, I think you have to separate things, because, there's physical manifestations of a warming climate, in the sense that the oceans are getting warmer, and then the oceans are getting more acidic, and that's because carbon dioxide from the atmosphere is dissolving into the oceans, which makes it acidic. And so that's, messing with the wildlife that lives in the sea. And then the bleaching of the reefs, because coral is actually white, and it holds inside it holds these protists, the zooxanthellae, which give it its color. And when the ocean gets warmer, warmth expands things, and so the coral is expanding, and the zooxanthellae fly out, and then it turns them white, and because they have a symbiotic relationship, it tends to kill the coral. So you could say, okay, all this is happening, but then how much do we really know about humans' role in that? And I have no idea. I have no idea.
I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think we've had that much of an effect on it. I mean, it's possible that we've had some, but the global warming, and I don't know. Do you think actually that on average, global warming, the effect is plus or minus 1 degree Celsius per year. That's the average of global warming every year, and it's plus or minus on average 1 degree.
So you're saying like that? This year was 1 degree warmer than last year, and then last year was 1 degree.
It's an average.
An average.
So That's what global warming is. That's what they say. Not global warming. That's what climate change is.
Okay.
It's plus or minus, the average plus or minus 1 degree Celsius each year. So,
granted, I don't know diddly whenever it comes to all that jazz, but when I looked it up once, the amount of change doesn't really seem like a whole lot.
It's not. And the way they're saying the weather has changed, the storms and tornadoes and hurricanes has not changed. There's actually in the 1800s, I mean, it's cyclic, whatever. The storms, I know, storms like through Florida, across the plains in the States, there have been certain times from the 1800s where they've tracked hurricanes. There have been worse ones in the 1800s than we've had like in the recent years. I mean, they've tracked them since then.
My only thing is, as long as the ice doesn't start releasing whatever viruses people think are under there,
that's
then
an
I'm
X-Files.
Who knows the bacteria?
Yeah.
But that's another good point. Cyclical. I mean, it's hard to tell.
Yeah,
because
it is.
200 years ago, it could have been a different cycle, and we'd have no way of knowing that. But then again, it cuts both ways. So, saying that there was a more severe hurricane in the 1800s, I don't know if their hurricane discovery technology was any better than their cameras and thermometers.
I'm talking about devastation to the island, or to the land and to the buildings and stuff. I mean, of course, we have more buildings probably now, but and in terms of people killed and in
lack of plagues and disease and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm talking about like the severity and the wind speed, and like severity of damage.
Well, and two, how much then were they recording that as much as we are now?
They recorded every bit of it.
Well, I mean, like, is it as intensive as we're recording it now?
My question would be about,
I don't know.
Technology as good as what we have now?
I would say it was
look at
probably not as good, but I mean, they could look with their eyes and see what damage. I mean, I could look and see how far a tree's been over. I could look and see how fast the wind is blowing. I could look and see how big. I could see how much it floods.
Hey, I could see the wind was bad enough that the rain wasn't blowing straight down; it was blowing sideways.
Yeah.
All I know is Burl is coming. So
Burl.
I mean, people recorded that stuff.
Talk about Burl Jackson, the Sasquatcher?
Yeah, Burl.
Yeah.
Hurricane Burl Jackson.
I'm saying, I think they push it more than what it actually is. That's my opinion, but
that's how they tax us.
I could be wrong.
Implement new green things.
I know, which is going to be destructive instead of progressive.
When anything becomes political, too, it's a shame, because it's fun to talk about scientifically, and then once you break it down into, you got to pick a side. But it's interesting what you say about the green stuff, because I was saying at the very beginning about the fracking ban in New York, and you couldn't. So farmers that have had this land in their family for centuries, and they don't want to lose it, but they're not making a living off of the farm.
Yeah.
They want it to drill. So we have this thing. Actually, comes up in a different one of my books, but we have this this tax law in New York State where if you put solar panels on your property and the property value increases, you don't pay property taxes on the increase in the property value. So that's encouraged a lot of people with a lot of land, especially farmers, to cover their land with solar panels.
Mm-hmm.
It's an opt-in system. It goes town by town in New York. New York is different from a lot of parts of the country in that we have like 4,000 municipalities.
Yeah.
And so it's literally towns have authority over there. So the town can opt in or opt out.
Mm-hmm.
And, the debate becomes, these are usually 20-year leases with solar development companies. So you can't do anything else with the land for at least 20 years while the panels are there. And then let alone what to do with them when the panels are gone. And so, I mean, farmland isn't exactly being created anymore.
Exactly.
Farmland is only being taken away. It's not, nobody's saying, I'm going to build a farm. I'm going to,
They want you to eat that.
So, yeah, it's like, well, where's the food going to come from eventually? Where's the food?
They're going to grow it in labs, and I don't want to eat that crap.
Yeah. Meat from plant.
Travis just had me watching something today about the daggone meat glue that they're using.
Yeah.
It's like a powder that they're mixing together with just different chunks of meat.
No.
And the thing that they sat there was a freaking filet mignon.
No.
And I had gotten us a couple that were real cheap, like last month from Kroger, and they tasted like.
Yeah.
Didn't taste like
you
meat,
don't know
didn't
what
have
you're
a
eating.
Meaty, the bacon that wrapped around it was better than the steak itself.
Yeah, you don't know if you're eating real meat or not from that you bought from the grocery store.
Well, and it took forever to cook, and it just was not good. If I have to layer A1 on a steak, then it ain't worth it. And it was funny because we usually keep like a freezer full of meat for whenever. Mm-hmm. And he pulls one out and he's like, I'm going to make these for dinner. And I look at the sticker of what's on it. And I was like, those are some Kroger steaks. Have fun with your meat glue.
Oh, gosh. See, I would probably go vegetarian.
That's what stuff's going to start turning into more.
That's disgusting.
I don't know.
Shoot, it used to be like you didn't get your meat and stuff from Walmart because it was bad. But shoot, the stuff from Walmart is better than the stuff like you can get from Kroger.
I know.
I'll take Walmart meat over lab meat any day of the week.
What?
I get butcher box, man.
What'd you say, lab meat?
I said I'll take Walmart meat over lab meat any day of the week.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Well, the funny thing was,
is
before I came in here, he was like, yeah, those steaks were crap. And I was like,
oh, no. See?
I can't eat most of that, actually, because I'm allergic to nuts and peanuts and stuff. And a lot of times what they get their protein source from is from that. And so I tried an Impossible Burger once. And I was like a few bites in. They had them at my college, and I said, let's
try one.
No.
And I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Are we talking Burger King Impossible Burger or just their version of an Impossible Burger?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought Impossible was like a brand of it.
Yeah, they've got Impossible meat at Kroger's now.
Okay, so I was under the impression they just bought those and then
chicken,
made them, but I have no idea.
Hamburger.
Oh, that's gross. I thought you were about to say you had Alpha Gal. You couldn't eat red meat.
I don't even know what that is. Oh, interesting. No, I can't. I can eat the real meat. Yep. No. Well, I have been bit by. I mean, I live up with been bit by a million, but no, I can eat the real meat, but no.
Yeah, it's funny. My stomach is real sensitive to like regular burgers at burger places, but the only one that I can actually eat that doesn't mess with me is the Impossible Burger.
Are you kidding?
That's the only one that doesn't mess with my stomach. But if you want a really good like meat-free, get Morningstar.
Yeah, Morningstar's not bad. They're made of mushrooms, though.
They're veggie burgers.
And black beans. Yeah, black beans.
Burger's a different story. That's like,
I
know what I'm getting. Like this is me.
Yes, exactly.
It's not a synthetic material that.
Right.
I heard it's like full of carcinogens.
Yeah.
Those pictures that came out years ago of like the lever with the.
The pink.
The pink stuff.
Yes.
Oh, those were bad looking.
Pass.
Pink
absolutely.
Hard pass. That's
just give me the burger made of chopped up veggies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Danny, we've kept you a lot longer than we intended to, and we ran over, and so I apologize.
Good conversation.
It was fun. I enjoyed
it was fun.
Yeah. It was a great conversation. You have to come back and visit with us, and you can always go over there with Bobby Dizzle and talk the science stuff. He's the smart one in the group. So
yeah, how'd that happen?
Yeah, I'd love to.
I'll get a hold of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get y'all in touch, and because he's got his own show too. So, but
Cool.
yeah. So tell everybody where they can find your stuff real quick before we let you get out of here.
Well, my Facebook page, Danny Anthony. I do have a website, DannyAnthonyWritings.com, but that's just, there's links to where you could buy it. I don't have a shop set up, but Amazon, they're who I do the publishing stuff through, but it's available on other, from other stores. So if you just look up the book, it'll come up and you could buy it from Barnes and Noble. There are some independent bookstores that I've seen carry it, at least online. I'm not sure about physical locations, but you can get it online and it's available, and all of them are available in ebook, audiobook, paperback. I don't have any hardcovers, but but I do have an author page. So if you do like Danny Anthony on Amazon, then all my stuff pops up, except for the sci-fi one for some reason, because I have Danny written on it, but I think I publish it under Daniel, which is my birth name, and it didn't link it, and I'm like, you son of a. So it's like, so if you go to buy that one, none of the rest of them pop up. Okay. And I'm like, shoot, so that's inconvenient. But if you just search the book titles, my name and the book titles, they come up.
Cool.
All right, and I'll get in touch with you, and then I'll get you and Bobby in touch too. So, but I hope you have a happy 4th of July.
Yeah.
Yeah, you too.
By the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. It's my favorite patriotic.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, have a good one, Danny. I will message you soon, and we'll see about getting you back sometime in the near future. So, and if you, we'll get you over on Bobby too. So,
sounds good. I'd love to. You guys are great.
Yeah, it was great to meet you.
It was.
Nice to meet you too.
Fun.
All right. See you, Danny.
All right.
Yeah, have a good night.
Happy 4th.
You too.
Peace.
Bye.
Take care.
You too.
That was a great show.
Yes.
He was cute.
I like his accent.
Well,
New York accent.
I wouldn't go with that, but yeah. Well,
way too smart for me.
Me too. Well, no.
Well, I think you like the accent because you also liked Vinny. So
yeah.
Guilty.
Vinny was built though, wasn't he? Vinny built.
Yeah, but he was tiny.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was tiny. He was way too tiny for me. He'd come up to my
did have that
belly
guy.
button.
He was cute though.
You just had who?
I forgot about Vinny.
Yeah. Were you here for Vinny?
I think so. Like he was.
Vinny Pacifico.
Yeah, Vinny.
Hey,
what did he do?
He was a wrestler.
Who said gay lady? But who's those comments I'm talking about?
Who knows, man?
Bye, gay lady, and have a good evening, gentlemen.
I don't. I just kind of let the comments scroll there. So,
gay lady.
Mommy, I'm sure she meant in the funny way.
Who's the stripper? Oh no, that was Wendell.
Yeah. You can always count on Wendell for the good comments.
Don't try to decipher any of those hieroglyphics. You'll hurt yourself.
Yes.
Bye, gay lady, and have a good evening, gentlemen.
Bye, gay lady.
Well,
so
she
stupid.
put sorry ex-stripper online too.
I have no idea. Like I
AKA
said,
Connie, no snow in the nose.
Yeah.
Who's the gay
World
lady?
Star, there's a reason
I don't know who
maybe.
she's talking about.
I think it's Glenn who's with the short haircut. I think it's this gay lady.
could be, and I'm going to cut the beard off or the mustache off soon. So,
Wendell said he found out he might need a stint.
Oh.
Well, I don't know that. Yeah, I don't think that was in the comments here.
No, it is. I really just found out I might need a stint.
Wow. Well, I hope Wendell gets to feeling better. So there's nothing like a hole in your heart. So that's a song, but that's another story. All right, so we are way over,
What the
ladies
hell
and
is
gentlemen.
that?
That's weird.
I'm
Ooh,
trying to
yeah,
look at
honey from a stripper, aka Connie, from a stripper club, aka Connie. No snow in the nose.
When does it help with young kids, you adults?
What the hell?
Are you trying to decipher this?
Yes. Who the hell is she talking to?
Maybe she was listening to the FM radio at the same time. Who the hell knows?
I don't know. She's a
no one listens to FM radio.
Bottom is tougher than water alone.
Maybe she was jealous of Glenda because she was so
Lord. So
I bet she was.
Cheyenne, who do we have on Friday? We have a military AI guy, don't we?
Yeah.
You want to hop in on that one, Bobby? Since you're Mr.
Friday?
Computer guy, yeah.
Oh,
Friday. Yeah. If you've recovered
Brandon,
from blowing stuff up, so
Brandon Collins.
yeah, he's military AI, so that should be good.
I think she's watching something else. I'm sorry.
Well, of course she is.
Oh, and you know we do have somebody for one part of next week. Sin Schrader Hall was supposed to be back.
Yeah.
Sin?
Yeah, Sin's coming back next week.
Sin's my person. You can't have her.
She's already been on here, so she's our person too.
She was here until the hurricane came through. So
that's right.
That was a terrifying night.
That was.
Yeah, y'all had a rough night that night.
She's 10 miles from me. We had the same tornadoes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you both were in the
Sin lives as a crow flies 13 miles from me.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
So you know the only thing today I was looking on Facebook, the only thing that would make me stick my nose up at Vinny is the fact that he thinks that Christian Bale is both the best Batman and Bruce Wayne.
No.
I got no comment.
So I told him that he would have to come back on the show and try and debate that.
Well, it's good engagement. Bobby, what do you got coming up?
You know, I don't even know who I'm going to put on Sunday. I've had a bunch that just launched that are really good. The one I did last week is a really good episode. It's not getting any attention. I'm just like, what are you people do in your lives?
What was it?
She's Linda Eastburn. She does all the little Bigfoot interviews. Plus, she's a remote viewer and intuitive. Got several books. It's good. I mean, it's out on the iTunes and everything too.
I have not found the secret to the algorithm.
I mean, I know what to do, but I'm not a Bigfoot channel, and I'm not going to succumb to what that wants. And I don't care what I have to suffer until I figure out how to get above it, but yet still keep a foot on it. Because I don't care. I'm not a Bigfoot channel. I mean, I know I have that as a logo, but
that's scripted though.
Yeah, I mean, it's it. It's just I'm not going to be totally, because that community gets crazy and they get defensive, and I'm not part of it. I'm a friend of it. They're my friends, but I'm not part of it.
Well, but the problem is you only get so many people. It's hard to get certain other ones. And then you're just, everybody's having the same person.
And they heard the same conversation over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like when somebody asks me now to come on a show and talk about Bigfoot, I'm like, okay, have you heard any of my other shows? Because I've been on quite a few shows. And so usually they're like, oh no, I don't know who you are. Like, okay, good.
With that being said, the people who've been over, if you need a boost, get them on, because they're going to watch the shit again.
Yeah, that's true.
You're absolutely right. And I don't know.
Nobody's going to not watch Robin Hayes or Robin, whatever her last name is now, for 4 freaking hours. You just sit there with 1,000 people watching. Like, what are you doing? It's the same stuff. Yep. And I love Robin. Whatever.
It's always good for a boost.
I've got plans. I've got a way ahead. I've got a format shift. I've got strings and markers but
you got the red web set up.
That's my new underlying theme of my podcast is I'm the conspiracy board of the phenomenon. Anything that can possibly link to it.
Oh. Now there's a shoot. What is he?
So far, people like it.
There's a guy that I watch who helps people with their channels. Like he helps people grow their channels. He's like coaches them He's a real good guy.
I don't think Bobby needs Mr. Beast.
No, no, his name's Van.
Chicken sandwich.
He has a reaction channel, but he's helped a couple of us, like at least 3 people, get their channels. One guy got like 200 million subscribers.
What?
Yeah.
What's his name? Van?
I mean, 2 million subscribers. But yeah,
well,
Van.
There for a minute, 200 million thousand.
I'm sorry, 2 million.
200 million.
I'm like Biden. 200 million, zillion,
trillion,
billion.
I saw 3 of them.
What was his name again?
His name's Van.
President Biden. I mean.
You can email him. Just put coach in the.
He's gonna want money though. So
I was
no,
say,
he doesn't want money. He does
money
it for free.
Or what
genitalia
is he wanting your mouth
it's
on?
lfrfamily.com. lfrfamily.com. Van at lfrfamily.com. Or you can watch him. He's cool.
All right. All right. Well, check us out on Friday night, the Grinning Guardian Gang. I will be on the Thin Line Rock Station tomorrow playing some tunes. Actually, I'm going to record it here as soon as I get off of here.
That's his YouTube channel too, LFR Family.
Yeah.
I don't get a Friday.
Is this the black guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's really a good guy.
And then Saturday, Cheyenne, what do we have for the Misfits?
I don't know yet. It has been a crazy week for me.
Well, you need to keep it secret because we've been copied. So.
Okay, gotcha.
Who copied us?
Oh, totally copied you.
Who copied?
We can't say it on here.
Yeah, you're an admin for him, so it's
no way.
Are you serious?
Freaking kidding.
Are you serious?
I was an admin.
I do not do that. I just found out I was the other day.
Dina's the mole. Dina's a mole.
There it is. Dina is the mole. She ratted herself out.
That's why she cut her hair.
Okay, so hold on here a second. So that copied, like, what about what we did?
Everything.
The theme of the whole show.
Are you kidding me?
Thing too?
Yeah. I got some other people that messaged me later. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So
I might have an idea.
I was like, wow, this guy's just straight up ripping it off.
Well, Bobby was the first one to message me.
Same topic?
Yes.
Are you
That
kidding?
makes it even funnier.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Topic and format were the exact same.
And I didn't buy my 1,000 guests, or hosts, or whatever the subscribers.
But did said person get a wrestler on?
I don't know because I don't care. So.
Still live. I'll tell you something after.
Yeah, the mole will tell us. All right, guys, check us out on the Grinning Guardian Gang tomorrow or Friday at 9:00. Saturday,
double agent.
Yeah, she should be wearing this shirt.
Agent woman.
You people can get in trouble with YouTube. I'm already in trouble with YouTube, and I have no idea how to edit this for SFAM. So I don't know that I can make 2 1-hour shows out of this. Killing me. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. Have a happy 4th of July. I hope to see you back with all your fingers and toes. Merry 4th of July. So come back with all your fingers and toes. We will see you in 7 days.